On a dark and stormy night, a baby's cry cuts through the rain. Two cloaked figures rush up a flight of stairs, desperate to escape the sound. "Make her stop," one of them hisses. The man snaps at his companion, telling her to cover the baby's mouth. But the woman just looks panicked, retorting that the baby can't possibly understand her. The tiny red-haired infant just keeps wailing, completely helpless. The man's voice is cold as ice. "Just leave her here, but she might die." He doesn't even flinch, his face set like stone. "There's nothing we can do about it," he says. His decision final. They glance at the child, a baby with the red hair of a cursed prophecy, and turn their backs. It's not their problem anymore. The woman casts one last, regretful look over her shoulder. "I'm sorry, baby," she whispers, before they disappear into the downpour, leaving the infant abandoned and alone. But this is no ordinary baby. As she watches them go, a single heartbreaking thought forms in her mind. "Don't leave me, not again in this life." You see, this wasn't her first time being an orphan. In her past life, she was tossed from home to home, her first foster mother complaining, "I just don't like the way she looks at me," before callously sending her back. She was abandoned by her first foster parents and then adopted again. A seemingly kind old man smiled at her, asking her to come with him. But that kindness was a cruel lie. She was locked in a dark storage room, trembling as he screamed at her. "If you let out even the slightest sound, you won't get any dinner," he roared, his face twisted in rage. She was left to starve on the cold floor. One day, a faint voice cut through the darkness. It was the police, saying they'd received a report. Her abuser tried to lie, claiming there was no kid there. With the last of her strength, she reached out a weak hand, trying to cry for help. Her desperate whisper was just barely heard by the officer. She was rescued just moments before death claimed her. Her third foster parents were better, providing for her until she got into college. But just when things were looking up, her life was cut short by a brutal car accident. And now here she is again. A baby, abandoned in the rain just like the day she died. All because of her cursed red hair. The sheer injustice of it all is crushing. This wretched life is already too exhausting. She decides to just end it. She'll stop breathing. But then she hears footsteps approaching. Closing her eyes, she makes a final wish for a better next life. A warm, golden light envelops her as a gentle voice gives her a new name. "You are Tilias from now on." Our girl snaps her eyes open to find herself in a cozy, sunlit crib. She tries to speak, but only baby gurgles come out. "Wait, I should have died in the rain. Is this the next life?" Suddenly, a handsome man with blonde hair leans over her. "Good morning, Tilias," he says with a warm smile. She recognizes his voice and the gentle way he holds her. He declares himself her father, and Tilias realizes this is her new name, and this is her new dad. No one has ever called her lovely, or our child before. The words are so full of love that she can't stop the tears from streaming down her face. She tries to pull herself together, scolding herself for crying like a baby. But she's just too happy. For the first time, she has a family. She is now Tilias Rose Linden, and she has two older brothers, Kier, who is always smiling, and Duluth, the serious one who carries a wooden sword to protect her. They are her two hardcore fans, and she's never had siblings who loved her like this before. When she lets out a tiny sneeze, they immediately panic, thinking she's caught a cold. This is definitely not bullying. Her beautiful mother, Julia, feeds her homemade baby food. The last housemaid quit, because, plot twist, this noble family is completely penniless. Still, Tilias knows a loving family is worth more than all the money in the world. In this world, her red hair is a curse, the very reason she was abandoned. But this family took her in anyway. She wants to thank them, to show them how much she cares. But all her baby body can manage is an awkward waddle. As she looks at them, she notices something strange. Floating above her parents' heads are tiny, glowing suns. She looks over at her brothers, and they have them too. What on earth are these suns floating above everyone's heads? The entire family has one. She reaches out a chubby hand, trying to grab the sun over her father's head, but she can't quite reach it. Her mom and brothers have them too, and she wonders if she's the only one who can see them. What about her own head? Determined, she uses a stool to climb up to the dressing table, ching to see her reflection in the mirror. Just a little more. Her tiny hand reaches out, but she's caught. "No, Tilly. It's dangerous to climb on the dressing table." Our little nugget pouts. She was so close. She has to figure out what's on their heads, and fast. What if it's something harmful? This is her precious family, and she vows to protect them, no matter what. Just then, a visitor arrives. "Ah, Marquis Kens. Welcome," her mother says. Tilly perks up at the new name. An arrogant-looking man struts in, and Tilias is shocked to see what's floating over his head. A dark, thundering storm cloud. The Marquis sneers at her father, asking if he's finally ready to work with him. "I'll help you in your career," he says with a slimy smile, mentioning he's been rejected multiple times already. But her father is a legend. He calmly replies, "You said tax evasion in your career, so thank you, but no thank you." The absolute savagery. Tilias is floored. Tax evasion? This guy is bad news. The Marquis scoffs, mocking their poverty, revealing his plan to exploit their family's legacy. Her father, ever the righteous baron, firmly refuses the offer. The Marquis explodes in a fit of rage. "That's it. I'll never come back again." As he storms out, Tilias gets excited. It's her chance to see that thundercloud head again. She babbles, "Head, head," trying to get her mom to look. The Marquis slams the door on his way out, leaving her mother looking bewildered. Tilias finally understands. The suns and the storm cloud must be expressions of their emotional state. This is an amazing ability. As her parents discuss the shady offer, she realizes they're too good for this world. These wonderful people deserve a happy life, and she can't just sit back and watch them struggle. With her new power to read moods, she knows she can make them rich. But right now, she's trapped in a tiny baby body, unable to even climb out of her crib. She's deep in thought when her mother comes to check on her, asking if she wants to play. This is it, her chance to go outside. She babbles and reaches up with all her might. Her mom picks her up and opens the door to another visitor. It's a woman with a severe expression, and her mom recognizes her instantly. Mrs. Kens. Tilias connects the dots. This must be the wife of Thundercloud guy, but something is weird. Mrs. Kens looks furious, but floating over her head is a bright sunny icon. Her mom politely invites the woman in, then gently tells Tilias not to worry before placing her back in the crib. Looks like it's time to eavesdrop again. Mom offers tea, but Mrs. Kens refuses. Tilias is confused. That's weird, she thinks. The sun was definitely up a second ago. Mrs. Kens's voice is trembling with suppressed rage. Mrs. Linden, please be honest with me. Then she drops the most chaotic, out-of-pocket accusation imaginable. You cheated on me with my husband, didn't you? Her mother is stunned speechless, and Tilias's tiny baby brain short-circuits. What? She wants to scream, lady, look at your husband's thundercloud face and say that again. A storm is brewing in the Linden household as a furious Mrs. Kens arrives, demanding answers. What the hell is that? She seethes. I know my husband came here yesterday, and he kept it a secret from me. Was he here to see Empress Linden? Our girl's mother flinches, completely caught off guard. No, she cries out, waving her hands frantically. Looking out the window, she tries to de-escalate the situation. He didn't come to see me, she explains. He came because he had something to say to my husband, not me. She insists he left as soon as they were done talking. Mrs. Kens seems to deflate, her anger replaced with confusion. I'm sorry, she murmurs. So if it's not you, then who else could it be? And just like that, the dam breaks. The poor woman collapses into sobs, hiding her face in her hands. Watching from her crib, our little nugget Tilly puts two and two together. Yes, the woman cries, my husband is having an affair. The heartbreaking confession echoes through the room. And as Tilly wobbles in her crib, a plan forms in her mind. She can't let this stand. She has to use that method. Mrs. Linden rushes to comfort her friend, patting her back gently. She picks up a fussy Tilly, explaining, these days Tilly doesn't stop crying until she's hugged. But our baby mastermind isn't crying. She's analyzing. She sees a thundering cloud over Mrs. Kens's head, but as the woman weeps, a bright sun appears. Tilly is baffled. It's the sun? How can she be sobbing her heart out but still have a sun symbol above her head? What does it all mean? She remembers her family, and Mrs. Kens have the sun, while the cheating Marquise has a thundercloud. Suddenly Mrs. Kens's sorrow turns into pure unadulterated rage. I'll find out who you're cheating with, she vows, her face contorting with fury. And in that moment, a light bulb goes off in Tilly's head. By 8 a.m. Yes, that's it. This must be a wind radar, a cheater detector. Her mother, misinterpreting the baby's excitement, just coos, oh my Tilly, are you rooting for her too? Mrs. Kens, now calm, gives a small sad smile. She's cute, she says, before apologizing and taking her leave. As the door clicks shut, Mrs. Linden sighs, hoping the Marquis will come to his senses. Tilly starts babbling, pointing insistently. Her mother smiles. You want to look on the mirror? She scoops her up, thrilled. You're already pointing at what you want. Tilly stares at her reflection, eager to see her own sign. But what she sees isn't a sun or a cloud. It's a rainbow. She stares, shocked. Is that really a rainbow? Her tiny baby brain short-circuits. What does a rainbow mean? Are you saying that I will have a colorful love? Harem? She blushes furiously. She tries to calm her racing heart. Her thoughts are interrupted by her mother calling her name. Later, they're out for a walk in town. Well, it's less of a walk and more of a public humiliation. Our poor Tilly is stuffed into a fluffy pink bunny suit and being led on a leash by her brother Kier. A couple of ladies spot them. Oh my, the baby came out for a walk. So cute. Kier, bless his heart, offers his embarrassed sister a giant lollipop. The ladies coo over her, offering more candy, and Tilly notices they both have suns over their heads. She takes the treat, thinking this isn't so bad. Everyone bows their heads to me, so I can see the sign very well. This is the perfect opportunity for some field research. She scans the crowd, spotting thunderclouds and plain clouds, but no one else has a rainbow like hers. Her little legs get tired, so Kier gives her a piggyback ride. That's when she sees them, a couple by the fountain. The man has a nasty thundercloud, but the woman has a bright shining sun. It's the Kens situation all over again. Tilly realizes the poor woman is being cheated on and has no idea. Steam practically shoots from her bunny ears. She points a tiny, determined finger. Steam. There. She knows it's a baby's word against an adult's, but she has to shout for justice. With all the might in her little body, she bellows. That old man is cheating. But in his shock, Kier stumbles on a rock. They both go down in a heap. The man turns, his face a mask of outrage. What? Kier, recovering quickly, holds Tilly and repeats her accusation. He's cheating. The man's face turns purple with rage, his hand tightening on his cane. You little... Which family are you from? Tilly watches, wide-eyed. Kier stands tall. My name is Kier Linden, of House Linden. The man's face twists in horror and recognition. He scoffs. You're the son of a shabby baron who has no importance. He raises his cane, bellowing. These bottomless things need a good scolding. He swings the cane down. But just before it connects, a hand shoots out and grabs it. It's Kier. His voice is dangerously calm. No matter how rude you are, you can't beat someone else's child, right? Karen holds Tilly tighter. Can't you see I'm holding a baby? He looks down for a second, then flashes a disarming smile, but his eyes turn to ice. You have that kind of power, he asks softly. The man struggles, trying to pull his cane back. Let go of this right now. Crack. With a single effortless motion, Kier snaps the thick cane in two. The Viscount collapses to the ground, utterly defeated. The crowd gasps. Viscount Dalton was just taken down by a kid. Even Kier seems surprised by his own strength. The Viscount's blonde lover rushes to his side. Come on, honey. But she looks at him with pure disgust. You're very ugly right now. Our little bunny watches the drama unfold. As the man sputters about his honor, his lover snaps back. But the real boss has just arrived. Then she delivers the final blow. Get the divorce papers ready. Right now. And one more, she says. A formidable older woman steps forward, the one who spoke to Kier earlier. She gives the Viscount a withering look. Let's just say we didn't talk about business, she says coolly. I'll take these kids home. The Viscount's face turns white with terror. Oh no, wait a minute, ma'am, it's a misunderstanding, he screams, chasing after their carriage, safely inside. The woman asks Kier if he's all right. He smiles. I'm fine. I'm glad Tilly is okay. He cuddles his little sister, the tiny bunny-suited agent of chaos. Here is the script. GOAT. Motsaik. Kier holds our little nugget gently, a soft smile on his face as he looks down at her. He apologizes for startling her, his voice a gentle whisper. He can't believe it's the same baby. He remembers her old face, a fierce tiny glare that could curdle milk. But now, her tiny hand reaches up, patting his cheek. Overwhelmed with a sudden rush of affection, Kier's heart melts. Thank you, he whispers, completely smitten. But this sweet moment is a memory. The reality is much harsher. We flash back to the aftermath of the fight, where someone demands to know what Kier means. He stands there trembling, as an adult voice accuses him. You literally broke his cane. Our girl Tilly is panicking internally. Oh no, her brother is in big trouble. She tries to send a telepathic message, insisting it was a move to save him from getting in trouble. She points a tiny, accusing finger, trying to get Deluce's attention. And then chaos erupts. Mom swoops in and starts dragging the boys away. Karen tries to explain, while Deluce screams that the ugly bearded man Hector Dalton tried to hit his brother first. Their mother listens patiently to the frantic explanation. She pulls them all into a warm, reassuring hug. As long as no one was hurt, that's what matters. But Tilly's internal monologue is on fire. Any parent would rather a cane get broken than be used to hit a kid, right? Just then, Dad arrives, looking like a prince straight out of a fairy tale. He beams with pride, also praising Kier for protecting his little sister. Later that evening, Mom holds a happy babbling Tilly. Our girl is already plotting. That flirtatious man, her dad, had some kind of power. And she has her wind radar. A brilliant, chaotic idea sparks in her mind. She'll start a secret agency. She imagines it all, the money, the fame, her family's status skyrocketing. She's so happy just thinking about it, a little drool escaping her lips. Meanwhile, at a stuffy council meeting, her father, Baron Linden, is trying to do some good. He's proposing a new waterworks project for the capital. But of course, the old cronies start mocking him, making snide remarks about his money and his wife. The Baron's face darkens, and he snaps, "Stop it." Suddenly, the room goes ice cold. A new player has entered the game, the devastatingly handsome and utterly terrifying Duke of Lore. He states coldly that this is not a battlefield. He taps his fingers impatiently, his displeasure radiating through the room. Another noble quickly tries to dismiss the meeting, but the damage is done. The Duke's presence has created a wintry atmosphere that chills everyone to the bone. With a single icy glare, he ends the meeting. Back at home, Dad looks completely defeated as he recounts the disastrous meeting to his wife. But as he's talking, he notices a guest. Tilly peers around her mom's leg, wondering who this strange woman is. The visitor, a beautiful blonde woman, asks if this is Baron Linden's house. And Tilly's brain short-circuits. It's MRS Dalton, the first customer for her brand new, unofficial top-secret cheating agency. Our girl absolutely loses it, jumping for joy. The two women stare at each other in shock, not because of the baby, but because they recognize each other. It's a reunion of old friends, Julia and Christina. They sit down for tea, catching up on old times. Julia smiles warmly, saying she's glad to see Christina happy. Christina, however, cuts to the chase. What happened with our children? She asks, her eyes narrowed. Julia explains that it was Tilly, this adorable little baby, who told her that her husband was cheating. She's divorced now, free, and it's all thanks to this tiny oracle. She gushes about Tilly's amazing abilities, but Christina doesn't look happy at all. She looks troubled. Tilly notices her mom's strange reaction and tugs on her dress, trying to cheer her up. Good things are good things, Mom, she thinks desperately. To break the tension, Julia offers a basket of delicious sweets. Tilly starts drooling, but her heart shatters when her mom says she's too young to eat them. The injustice. As Julia gets ready to leave, she promises to bring baby food next time, making Tilly pout even harder. But before she goes, she offers one last thing in return for Tilly's help. A piece of vital information. She leans in and whispers a hot tip. Buy the land at the end of Mount Rubens. Julia leaves with a final, knowing smile. Christina is baffled. Mount Rubens? That land is nothing but ruins. But Tilly is already picturing the mountain, her mind racing. She starts bouncing, insisting they have to buy it. And then, it hits her. A memory from the novel she read. A horrifying, chilling memory about that specific piece of land. Her face drains of all color as she screams in her mind, "What are you talking about?" Here we go again. Our little nugget, Tilly, is putting all her faith in the beautiful Christina. She clenches her tiny fist, determined. It won't be expensive if it's land with nothing, she thinks. Let's trust Christina and make Mom and Dad buy the land somehow. Later that evening, as the sun sets, Dad finds Mom looking happy. He asks her what she and her friend talked about. While feeding our little protagonist, Mom smiles, saying they just caught up on old times. Then she casually drops the bomb. Oh, before she went, she suddenly asked me to buy Ruben's land. The whole family discusses it over dinner. Dad is skeptical, saying the land is in ruins. Mom agrees, thinking there must be a mistake. But our girl can't let this slide. She starts babbling, trying to get her point across. No, it must be real estate. It must be an important land. But of course they don't understand. Mom just thinks she has food on her face. Arg, it's not just babbling, Tilly thinks, her frustration mounting. She tries again, shouting what sounds like Dedan, Taya, in a desperate attempt to say buy the land. Suddenly, a voice of reason cuts through the chaos. Her older brother, Duluth, who had been quietly eating bread, seems to understand. He turns to his baby sister, a thoughtful look on his face. Tilly, you said that we should buy the land, right? He asks. Bingo, our girl has her official translator. Duluth immediately turns to their mother. Oh yeah. Got it, Mom. Tilly says she needs to buy the land. Mom just laughs, thinking it's adorable, but then she remembers what Christina said. I'm sure this baby has great abilities. A thoughtful look crosses Mom's face. Could it be true? Dad still thinks it's a bit risky, but one look at Tilly's pouting face is all it takes for him to melt. Lich blushes, completely defeated by the cuteness overload. I have no choice but to proceed with the purchase right away. He sighs. Yaha, success. Tilly celebrates internally, already planning how she'll make her family billionaires. Her other brother, Kier, is still trying to figure out what she said. He holds up a picture of the sun symbol. Isn't it this one? The effort of being a genius baby is just too much. Tilly gives up and flops right over on the floor. Mom gently scoops her up, figuring she must be sleepy from all the excitement. She cradles our tiny heroine, cooing that it's time for bed. As Mom holds her, Tilly peeks over her shoulder. Not done yet. Duluth tells her not to try so hard to talk, that she can take her time. But Tilly knows she can't wait. As Mom puts her in the crib, her mind is racing. It's not just about the money. Being able to say what she wants, it makes her truly happy. A happiness she never had in her past life. She flashes back to the orphanage, and the middle-aged couple that adopted her. They soon had their own biological child, and she was once again left alone in the dark, always feeling like an outsider. But this life is different. This is her real family, a family that shows their love, and she desperately wants to show hers back. Looking at her mom, she tries with all her might. Suddenly crash, a tomato splatters against the window. Mom, it's a big deal, Tilly thinks, panicking. Another one hits the glass. A strange man is attacking their house. Mom immediately grabs her, deciding to move her to a safer room. Her sons rush to her side, and Duluth mentions their dad isn't home. As Mom tells them to lock the door, Duluth snaps. Why do we always have to hide? He demands, his face twisted with rage. It's those people who are bad, but why do we always have to suffer? He yells, what's wrong with my mom having red hair? Karen places a hand on his shoulder, calming him down. Mom takes Tilly, then kneels down to look Duluth in the eyes. May I just ask you one thing? She says gently. She explains that the villagers' hatred is a belief as firm as his belief in his parents' love. They blame their red hair for the bad harvest. It's a cruel superstition that won't be broken easily. Lying in her crib later, Tilly finally understands. Her mother isn't being passive. She's enduring all this humiliation to protect them. A fire ignites in our heroine's soul. Her eyes narrow, and her tiny fist clenches. Oh, this is not over. The next day, a new plan is in motion. The boys find Tilly on the floor, furiously drawing something. They're amazed at her skills. They lean in to see her masterpiece, and their eyes go wide with understanding. It's a crude drawing of the tomato-throwing man, falling into a pit. And so, Operation Revenge begins. The boys start digging a giant hole in the yard. Tilly watches, a savage fire burning in her eyes. If you come again, I'll make you fall into the pit and return with shut all over your body, she vows. This beggar is going down. Karen, that is my with special ingredient. Duluth has collected in a bucket. Don't you think you collected it too much, he asks, concerned about the smell. After pouring the contents into the pit, they cover it with leaves. The trap is complete. The boys admire their handiwork. It's perfectly camouflaged. Tilly is giddy with anticipation. Karma always comes back around, she thinks darkly. That night, everyone is on edge. Mom waits by the window, worried because Dad is late. Tilly is in her arms, unable to sleep, waiting for the trap to spring. Suddenly, a loud thud echoes from outside. Mom jumps. Tilly grins. Mission accomplished. But then, a horrified scream rips through the air. Mom's face drains of all color. The boys run in, asking what's wrong as she rushes for the door. Tilly's world shatters. That's right, it was Daddy, not the bad guy. Mom throws the door open, screaming her husband's name. And there, in the moonlight, is her beloved Henrik, standing waist-deep in their poop-filled trap. He's covered in filth, trembling with rage and humiliation. Back at the door, Mom is utterly confused. Duluth quickly tries to cover their tracks. Yes, I'm fine. I guess Mom heard it wrong. Karen caught her persnuff that he thinks the bad guy fell in, not Dad. And behind them, our little agent of chaos, completely oblivious to the catastrophe, gives a triumphant thumbs up. Here we go, buckle up buttercups, because this is about to be a wild ride. Our little red-headed nugget, Tilly, thinks the man who came to visit just fell over. She gives a confident thumbs up, totally clueless about the absolute chaos she just caused. Her older brothers, meanwhile, are celebrating their victory in hushed whispers. We did it! Thanks, Tilly, they cheer, right before their mom catches them lurking outside. Honey, Dad, she calls out, a little flustered. And would you look at that, a dashing blonde man appears, holding the reins of a horse. Mom practically swoons, thinking he came just to pick her up. She frets over him being late, but he just gently pats his horse, explaining he successfully bought the land they wanted. The paperwork is all theirs. Tilly's eyes sparkle with pure, unadulterated greed. The land document. They can finally be rich. Daddy's the best, she squeals with joy. And just like that, the world stops. Her mom explains what just happened. And poor Dad, he literally stumbles back, completely short-circuiting at being called Daddy for the first time. The shock is just too much. Later, Mom is teasing him. I can't believe you fainted just because I called you Daddy, she says. The next morning, our little heroine wakes up, finding herself being pushed in a stroller on a lovely day. She's confused. Where am I? She wonders, just as her mom tells her brother that Dad is waiting for them. They've arrived at a vast empty plot of land. This is Rubens's land? Tilly thinks, a little underwhelmed. Suddenly, a woman appears, welcoming them. It's Christina, a friend, who knew they'd come. She admits the land looks pretty desolate right now, but then she drops an absolute bombshell. This land is sitting on a high-quality iron ore mine. Christina smirks, revealing she wasn't just sitting around while her playboy ex-husband fooled around. She tells them they're all gonna be rich, but Dad doesn't look so happy about it. Tilly is utterly baffled. All she can see are mountains of gold coins. So why does her dad look so depressed? After Christina leaves, Mom is already planning their new life. Diapers, better food, new clothes, and a good academy for the boys. But Dad is quiet. He finally speaks, asking her if she remembers him talking about needing waterworks for the Empire. He mentions the skin diseases plaguing the common folk. Then he asks the most heart-stopping question. Can I donate this mine to the Empire? The family freezes. But Mom just swoons, holding his hands. This is why she fell in love with him, his kindness. Tilly, however, is having a full-blown meltdown. Our money, it's flying away. She can't believe this is happening. And just like that, Dad rides off to the Imperial Palace. Tilly is fuming. She wants to stop him, but what can a baby do? As he approaches the magnificent palace, he steals his resolve, running a hand through his hair. The palace guards stop him, demanding he identify himself. As he walks past, they whisper about how shabby the Baron looks now. He clenches his jaw, but he's used to the disrespect. He knows his ideals come at a price. And he does it all to protect his family, who are already targets because of the superstitions surrounding their red hair. Their poverty has been their shield. He imagines dark crows descending. If they become wealthy, the other nobles will flock to them, ready to tear them apart. They'll devour them whole. And he fears they'll take Julia and Tilly from him. He sees flashes of them being ripped to shreds by vicious claws. He knows he's not strong enough to protect them from that kind of danger. He clenches his fist, his anger overriding his fear. He kneels before the throne. Henrik Linden greets you, Your Majesty. The Empress, a stunning and powerful woman, greets him coolly. He gets straight to the point, presenting the land document and offering it to the Empire. He tells her about the mine and how its profits can fund the waterworks to help the people. The Empress is intrigued. She asks how he got this information, and to protect his family, he simply says his wife and daughter were involved. He can't risk them being targeted. The Empress immediately orders workers to the site. She's impressed. Henrik breathes a sigh of relief. She then teases him. What? I thought you were finally here to beg for a vacation home. Back at the Linden house, Tilly is on a hunger strike. She just puffs out her cheeks and refuses to eat. She's furious. Our precious land. Mine, she screams in her head, slamming her tiny fists on the table. Mom walks in, and the boys quickly cover for Tilly, saying she's just mad the rice isn't tasty. Mom coaxes her with a spoon, and Tilly finally takes a bite. It's delicious, but she's too angry to admit it. As the boys take over feeding duty, Mom hears a knock at the door. She opens it to see who's there. A man with a scar on his face stands before her. He gets straight to the point. Please accompany us to the royal palace. Julia is terrified. All of us. Tilly's head whips around. The royal palace. Again? The man declares it's an order from Her Majesty. Julia panics, grabbing her chest. Did my husband do something wrong? Just then, Henrik appears behind her. The guard impatiently orders them into the carriage, adding that they need to cover their red hair with hats. Henrik's eyes turn to ice, and the guards instantly flinch back in fear. They're rushed into a grand royal carriage, which quickly clops away. Inside, Tilly looks around with wide, nervous eyes. Her mother is trembling with anxiety, and Tilly realizes the whole family is on edge. They've done nothing wrong, yet they're constantly on the defensive. She thinks about how much they've suffered just for being poor and having red hair. The carriage stops. Get off. We've arrived. Tilly peeks out and her jaw drops. The royal palace is more dazzling than she could have ever imagined. It's like heaven, with gorgeous roses climbing every fence. They walk through the stunning grounds and into an interior that's just as magnificent. The grand doors swing open, revealing the Empress on her throne. Tilly is in awe. She's so much more elegant and graceful than some king on a playing card. Henrik bows deeply. The Empress cuts right to the chase. They found the mine, and it's massive. The entire family is stunned. She steps down from her throne, walking towards them. So Baron, she asks, her voice sharp, how did you find out about the mine? She stops right in front of Henrik, then turns her gaze to his family. Henrik gives his wife a reassuring nod. In truth, but before he can finish, Tilly blurts out, "Emmy say, I told them." The throne room falls silent. The Empress stares down at the tiny baby. Tilly panics. Oh no, she's done it now. The Empress has such a stern face she'll never favor a red-haired baby. She squeezes her eyes shut, waiting for the worst. But instead of scolding her, the Empress simply pokes her cheek. "What a cute baby," she says, a hint of a smile on her face. Henrik lets out an awkward sigh of relief. The Empress clears her throat. She doesn't need to know the details. She wants to entrust Henrik with a bigger task. He immediately kneels, ready for any command. "Relax," she says, explaining she asked for his children to be here to share in the good news, though she didn't realize they were so young. "From now on, you will be in charge of the mining project," she declares. She needs someone trustworthy, and she expects results. Henrik smiles, accepting the duty with confidence. "A title as a baron is not adequate for a matter of such critical importance," the Empress announces. "Baron Linden, I bestow upon you the title of Viscount." As she touches his shoulder, knighting him, Tilly internally explodes with joy. Yes, we did it. The first step to becoming rich. Our little nugget is absolutely losing her mind. She's practically swimming in a sea of gold coins, her little fists pumping in the air. Finally, she thinks, the road to riches is wide open for my family. Meanwhile, back at the palace, the Empress gives a tiny, satisfied smirk. Looks like her investment paid off. As the family leaves, Dad reflects on how lucky he is. He looks at his wife and children and thinks, maybe today, I may have found a jewel buried by my side. The royal knights line the path as their carriage waits. One of the sons can't help but notice the change. "Wow, the knights are like this," he murmurs. "Isn't your attitude so different from when we came here?" He turns to his mother, Julia, with a smile. "But thanks to you, Mom looks happy." Her husband, Henrik, takes her hand, his voice soft. "Julia, I'm glad that you look happy. It's all thanks to you for being with me." Julia looks away, blushing. "Thanks to me? No, I thought I was blocking your way," but Henrik cuts her off gently. "That's not true," he says, promising to make her even happier. "You are more precious to me." And when they get home, the real celebration begins. The kids' jaws drop at the sight of a mountain of gold coins piled on the dining table. "Awesome! Are we rich now?" they shout, completely starstruck. Henrik turns to his wife with a warm smile. "Julia, this time, do whatever you want to. There were a lot of things that you wanted to do." Julia's eyes sparkle with unshed tears of joy. "Really? Should we do everything this time?" First on the list, a total home makeover. The once drab living room is now sparkling and new. The kids press their faces against a brand new bigger window. You can see the outside better, and I think it's so cool. Julia is practically glowing. "I'm so happy," she sighs. "I wanted to change the children's room, the interior, and the broken furniture." She looks at her husband apologetically. "I'm sorry for not paying attention to you all this time." But he just cups her face gently. "No, that's not true," he says softly. "There is no need to be sorry, Julia." He promises her she'll never regret the choice she made to be with him. Suddenly, a voice pipes up from the new sofa. "Choice? Marriage? Come to think of it, how did you meet each other, Mom and Dad?" Both parents jump, startled by their eavesdropping son. His brother chimes in, "But aren't you curious too?" And just like that, the floodgates open. Our little Tilly starts bouncing on her feet, demanding the story. The whole family gathers around, ready for story time. Julia smiles. "So, shall we talk about what a wonderful man your dad was?" The flashback begins, taking us back to when Julia was just a little girl. It wasn't a happy childhood. Other children would taunt her mercilessly. "Julia, I heard you're a kid picked up from a beggar's alley. Why are you still here?" A young Julia could only stand there hurt and confused. They would point and laugh at her unique red hair, whispering that she was cursed. She was a disgrace to her family. As the youngest of the Baron Cartes family, she was the only one with red hair, and they treated her like an outsider. Only a few people were kind to her, and one of them was a sweet blonde-haired boy. "Julia, can you stay with me a little longer?" he'd ask. She was always flustered, trying to make excuses to leave, saying she had to go clean. That boy was Henrik Linden. She liked him so much, but she kept her distance, terrified her curse would bring him harm. With him, her cursed hair color didn't seem to matter. His kindness was a comfort, but that peaceful time came to a screeching halt. Until that kid came. One day, a strange girl appeared. "My name is Deli," she announced, "and my mother told me to visit here in her will." The bombshell dropped. She was the Baron's illegitimate child. This new girl was everything Julia wasn't. She had the family's hair color and a bright personality. Slowly but surely, Deli took Julia's place. The situation explodes when the Baron accuses a maid of switching the babies at birth, trying to pin the blame for Deli's existence on her. Wunya couldn't stand it and rushed to defend the innocent woman. "Father, stop!" Her father snaps, his face contorted with rage. "Who is your father? Red-haired bastard." He raises his hand to strike her, and Julia flinches, shutting her eyes tight. But the blow never lands. A voice roars, "Stop it, Baron Karts." It's Henrik. He's caught the Baron's wrist, his eyes blazing with fury. He reveals he's done his research, and he looks at the Baron with pure contempt. "You don't deserve to be Julia's father." The room is frozen in shock. Henrik stands protectively in front of Julia, recounting all the times he saw her treated like a servant in her own home. The Baron sputters, but Henrik shuts him down with an icy glare. "You disregarded Julia just because you are her father. he says, his voice dangerously low. You have no right to be her father. The Baron screams at him to mind his own business, but Henrik delivers the final savage blow. Didn't you just claim that she was never your child to begin with? He turns to a stunned Julia. I can't see you living with people that disrespect you, he declares. Come with me. Right now. He holds out his hand, a shining beacon in her miserable life. For so long she was treated as second best, but in that moment, she takes his hand, a smile finally reaching her eyes. She didn't need to beg for love anymore. Of course, their escape wasn't easy. Henrik's family was furious. His mother wept, horrified that he had offended a baron for a girl like Julia. So Henrik made a choice. He would leave his family and give up his title. Julia's heart drops. He walks out and Julia runs after him, her voice trembling. Are you giving all this up because of me? He stops and turns, his expression soft. I made my choice, and it wasn't because of you. I don't want you to worry or feel guilty. He pulls her into an embrace. I will never regret choosing you over it. Julia knew he had lost everything for her, so she dedicated herself to supporting him, and through their combined strength and love, they made it work. Henrik worked tirelessly for the Empress and eventually earned a title of his own. Back in the present, the kids are swooning. Wow, what a couple. Our little Tilly just stares at her parents, her eyes wide. In her eyes they are shining brighter than the sun. A truly perfect couple. But life goes on, and Daddy is away for work on a new mining project, leaving Mom exhausted. She's so tired she's trying to feed Tilly's cheek instead of her mouth. Tilly has had enough. She slams her spoon down and yells, Papa GAA, let's go see Daddy. Mom snaps out of her daze. The thought of seeing her husband instantly recharges her. Yes, let's go, she cheers, scooping Tilly up. It's time to pick out the perfect outfits. Mom is practically buzzing with excitement, holding up a frilly pink dress. Tilly's reaction? A loud nope. The whole family piles into the carriage, heading for the mining site. The boys are playing games, and Mom is laughing, completely relaxed. Tilly watches her mother, seeing a genuine happiness that wasn't there before. She understands now. Mommy misses Daddy, just as much as he misses her. After a long journey, they arrive at a camp of tents. The once barren land is now a bustling work site, all thanks to the Empress's orders. A worker points them to the Viscount's tent. Mom tells the boys to wait as she and Tilly go to surprise him. She peeks inside the tent flap. Henriette, we're here, but she freezes. Inside she hears another woman's voice, and sees her husband sitting with a glamorous lady in a striking red dress. Julia's smile vanishes. Henrik finally sees them, his face lighting up in surprise. He explains he was in a meeting, and introduces the woman. This is Countess Ivy Lebeek. The Countess gives a smug, knowing smirk. And we all know what that means. Trouble. She purrs that she's just here to assist with the project. Mom stammers a reply, but Tilly is already giving the Countess the stink eye. The Countess's smile falters for a moment, before she passive-aggressively suggests that the family's presence might be a distraction. The audacity. Tilly is fuming. Is this woman acting like she's the wife? Our little nugget puffs up her cheeks and lets out a defiant boo. That's not true. And just in time, Daddy swoops in. He wraps his arms around his family, declaring that their presence gives him strength and they are no trouble at all. Tilly is thrilled. Good job, Daddy. But the Countess isn't giving up. She grabs Henrik's hand, pointing out a small cut. He even hurt himself while trying to help the workers, she says, her touch lingering far too long. Tilly's eye twitches in rage. The boys know exactly what to do. They know their mom always has a first aid kit. Julia smiles, taking over. She gently tends to her husband's hand as he jokes about getting hurt more often if it means getting her attention. The Countess can only watch, nibbling her finger in fury. Tilly gives her a smug look, thinking it's no use. Their love is too strong. The Countess tries one last tactic, mentioning a new type of ore she found, a luby. Tilly starts to babble the word, and the Countess scoffs, thinking the baby is just mimicking her, but the family just laughs together, Henrik tossing a delighted Tilly into the air. Defeated and trembling with rage, the Countess decides to leave. Enjoy the time with the family, she says, her voice dripping with venom as she departs, but her departure feels ominous. Dark clouds rumble over a distant castle. Sometime later, the sun is shining again. Tilly wakes up, happy to see the nice weather, because she knows they have an important trip today. Her father greets her, confirming they're going to the palace together, just the two of them. Time has passed. Tilly is growing up fast, eating solid food, and even learning math from her big brother. She's talking more clearly now too. In the carriage, she asks her dad why the others aren't with them, and he explains the Empress specifically requested to see her. Tilly is thrilled. She wonders what this could be about. Is the Empress going to praise her dad for his hard work? She's expecting good news, but when they stand before the throne, the Empress's expression is icy. It's a disappointment. Viscount Linden. Henrik is stunned. The Empress explains that another Viscount, a man named Dalton, has filed a report claiming the mining project is a failure, and as she speaks, Dalton and the Countess Lebeek. A sudden realization hits her like a lightning bolt, picturing the two of them together. Is Countess Lebeek the secret mistress of Viscount Dalton? The plot thickens. Here we go again. Our little nugget has her thinking cap on and it looks like she's piecing together a sinister plot. In the throne room, Daddy is making his case to the Empress, presenting his detailed reports. He boldly claims Viscount Dalton's accusations are a complete fake. The Empress narrows her eyes, skeptical. Are you suggesting that Viscount Dalton defamed you? She presses him, asking how he explains the rumors of him selling off ores. But our man stands his ground, cool as a cucumber. He points out Dalton's report is based on nothing but a baseless rumor, with zero evidence. He even invites a random inspection, if she still has doubts. The Empress leans forward. So are you suggesting there are no problems at the site? He flashes a confident, dazzling smile. Certainly, Your Majesty. Just then, a tiny voice pipes up. Our girl throws her hands in the air, shouting for everyone to hear. D-Daddy is working all day, not coming home. Trust him so he can work harder. She immediately gulps, realizing she just yelled at the most powerful woman in the Empire. The Empress's icy expression melts. She pats our little heroine's head, a soft smile playing on her lips. Maybe she is smarter than I am. She apologizes to the Viscount for doubting him, but he just stammers, completely flustered. To celebrate, the Empress pours a glass of wine. And then thud, Her Majesty face plants right onto the table. She's out cold after a single glass. The Viscount and Tilly are stunned. She barely had a glass. As he tries to help the wasted Empress, she starts slurring about his love life. Suddenly, a handsome man with silver hair swoops in to assist. The Empress drunkenly introduces her third royal concubine, Miles Furo. Our girl sizes him up. He seems genuinely flustered and sincere in his care for the Empress. A total softie. The Empress coos over how handsome he is, caressing his blushing face. Tilly can literally see the sun glowing over his head. Our little schemer gets an idea. The Empress seems to be brushing off his feelings because he's a concubine. Oops, my hand, she cries, accidentally spilling a glass of red juice all over the Empress's dress. A total power move. Chaos erupts. The maids panic over the stain, but Tilly just gives Miles a knowing, smug little smirk. She's basically screaming, "This is your moment, you idiot." The light bulb finally goes off for Miles. He dramatically removes his cloak and drapes it over the Empress's shoulders. The Empress, now a bit more sober, is touched. "Thank you, Miles." She suggests they all take a walk to dry off, and as they stroll through the garden, she smiles, looking genuinely happy. She even whispers to the Viscount, trying to get the secret to his happy marriage. All this royal drama is exhausting for our poor girl. She sees the Empress and Miles laughing together, and figures her work here is done. She tells her dad she wants to explore the garden alone for a bit. Waving goodbye, she scampers off thinking, now try to earn some points from the Empress while I'm away. She thinks about the two of them. She's starting to realize the sun symbol she sees isn't just about romance. But from the Empress's genuine smile, she can tell her feelings for Miles are real. Lost in thought, she suddenly looks up. Huh? She's completely and utterly alone in the massive garden. I'm lost. Panic starts to set in as she tries to retrace her steps. She wanders through the endless greenery, her heart sinking. How is she ever going to find her way back? But then she hears something, a beautiful melody, like an angel singing. She peeks through the leaves and sees a boy with hair as white as snow. She stares, mesmerized. And then she notices something truly bizarre. This kid, he doesn't have a sun, or a cloud, or anything floating above his head. This is a first. She cautiously approaches and introduces herself as Tilly. The boy smiles. My name is Theseus. You can call me Tessie. He reaches for her hair, and she flinches, expecting a comment about its color. But he just gently plucks a leaf from her head. She explains that she got lost while her dad was with the Empress. Tessie's smile is radiant. Oh, I know where the Empress is. Follow me. He holds out his hand. Despite his cool appearance, she feels an undeniable warmth from him. They walk hand in hand through the garden. His touch is so warm, a feeling she's only ever felt with her own family. He turns to her with a curious look. I was wondering, he says, how did you find me? Was my singing too loud? Her eyes sparkle. So that was his voice. She tells him he sounded like an angel. He laughs, completely charmed. For you, he says with a gentle smile. I wanted to hear more of it. He promises that if they ever meet again, he'll sing just for her. Suddenly, her dad comes rushing toward them, his face etched with worry. Tilly, where were you? Kiwa sweeps her into a hug, relieved. She tells him a nice boy helped her, but when she turns to point him out, he's gone. Vanished into thin air, cradled in her father's arms. She can't shake the feeling of how strange it was. No symbol above his head, and he disappeared like a ghost. She just hopes she'll see him again someday to properly thank him. Back at home, Mom greets them at the door. Tilly is bursting with pride. Daddy's work problems are solved, and her matchmaking mission was a smashing success. Her brothers run out to greet their father too. Duluth proudly shows off his broken wooden sword, saying he's too attached to get a new one. Later, Mom asks her husband what happened at the palace. He tells her it was Viscount Dalton again. The snake sent in a fake report, probably with the help of Countess Lebeek, all because he's still mad about a broken cane. But Mom just points at her husband's face. I think another problem is your handsome face. Well, he's completely baffled, and she just pokes his cheek, calling him a dummy. Tilly can't handle the cringe. She drops her doll in disgust. Ooh, but her mood darkens when she remembers the Countess. That woman tried to destroy her happy family. It's clear she's siding with Dalton now. This means war. Our little girl clenches her tiny fist. She has to find a way to use her ability to protect her family. She brainstorms. A fortune-telling business? No, too public. Threaten Dalton? Too risky. It's clear she can't do this alone. So she decides to confide in her brothers. She draws pictures of the suns and clouds, trying to explain her power. They're completely lost. You cheat on tests, not on people. She groans in frustration. Finally, Kier gets it. Oh, cheat as in being unfaithful. So Tilly knows magic? Magic. Tilly's eyes light up at the word. Her brothers, bless their hearts, just calmly promise to support her. She's a little let down by their lack of excitement, but seeing the loyal suns over their heads, she decides it's best to keep her powers a secret from the world. It's better to be the heroine with a hidden trump card. Life at the Viscounty has improved dramatically. They have staff to help around the house, delicious food on the table every day, and a full lavish dining room. They even have a new tutor, a cheerful woman named Eustace, who has a bright sun over her head. The kids gather for their first lesson. Tilly, with the mind of an adult, is ready to ace this, and she does. The tutor is absolutely stunned by her perfect score. Her brothers proudly tell the tutor she's a genius who already knows multiplication. Duluth almost blurts out the secret about her magic, but Kier slaps a hand over his mouth just in time. The tutor just laughs, thinking it's simple sibling rivalry. Their mother brings in tea, and the tutor gives her a glowing report. Kier is focused, and Duluth has a knack for languages. She declares that Tilias is a bona fide genius. Tilly just sits there, beaming with pride. The tutor is thrilled, exclaiming she's found a room full of talented kids. Looking at their new life, Dad reflects on how they were nearly bankrupt just weeks ago, but he knows that the more successful he becomes, the more jealous enemies they'll make. Tilly knows this too, already mapping out their family's political standing. They're now frequent guests at the palace for tea. Tilly nibbles on a delicious cake, feeling victorious. The empress invites them over so often. Tilly now recognizes the tea sets by heart. The empress asks how the desserts are, and Tilly gives them a rave review. The empress laughs and reveals Miles made them himself, adding a cheeky comment about how skillful he is with his hands. Daddy immediately covers Tilly's ears, which is just savage. Tilly peeks and sees bright suns over both their heads. It worked. The empress then asks if there's anything Tilly wants. Our girl pauses, a thoughtful look on her face. She beams and asks for a party to celebrate her daddy's new title. Her father gets flustered, saying their home is too small, but the empress slams her hand on the table. Then I'll host it for you, right here at the palace. Tilly is ecstatic, pumping her fist in the air. Yes. This is perfect. It's a golden chance to show the whole world that her father has the Empress's unwavering support, so that vipers like Dalton will never look down on their family again. The family gathers around the table as a fancy invitation slides into view. Her Majesty is hosting a party to celebrate Dad's new title, and the entire family is requested to attend. The boys absolutely lose it with excitement. Dad looks a little worried, telling Julia it might be a bit much for her with so many people. But our girl is resolved. She taps the invitation and declares, "It's fine, I'll go." She can't just hide at home now that he's a viscount. She flashes him a heart-melting smile. "I will behave honorably," she promises, "and I would love to celebrate with you." Dad is completely moved, his heart swelling as he whispers her name. With that settled, the boys are buzzing with energy, ready to shop for the perfect outfits, but their excitement crashes and burns the second they arrive at the boutique. A sour-faced woman blocks their path, her voice dripping with disdain. "We're sorry, but we do not allow red hairs into our shop." Dad's face goes thunderous, ready to unleash his fury, but Julia, ever the calm one, gently stops him. She knew this would happen, but even she's shocked they'd refuse entry to a high-class boutique. Just then, another customer leaves, and the shop owner bows deeply to her. The blatant disrespect makes the kids' blood boil. As they turn to leave, the owner suddenly calls out, "Excuse me, please wait." She peeks around nervously, before ushering them inside. She apologizes profusely, blaming the previous superstitious customer and offering a discount to Viscount Linden's family. Julia sighs, thinking maybe the woman isn't as bad as she first seemed. And just like that, the bad mood vanishes. The shop is filled with gorgeous dresses. Little Tilly's eyes are sparkling like stars as she takes in all the delicate lace and cute ribbons. Julia suggests they wear matching dresses, and Tilly's face lights up with pure joy. "Yes, Mommy, I love it." The night of the party arrives, and the palace is a dazzling sea of elegance and glamour. Our little nugget Tilly is completely starstruck by the glittering chandeliers and fancy desserts. Mom and Dad look like a fairy tale couple, absolutely glowing. Julia admits she's nervous, but Henrik sweetly reassures her. They decide to go greet some guests, leaving the kids in Kier's care. The three siblings stick together, taking in the exciting atmosphere. But of course, the peace can't last. A smug-looking kid swaggers over. "Hey, filthy heads," he sneers. "You must be the kids from the Linden family." He crosses his arms, looking them up and down with disgust. "One worthless kid and two filthy heads," he declares. Duluth is about to explode, but Kier holds him back. With an icy calm, Kier asks, "Who are you to be this rude, especially at a party held for us?" The little jerk just smirks, pointing to his black hair. "You don't know who I am. This hair is an emblem of the Lore family." But Kier is not impressed. His eyes turn cold as steel. "I don't recognize you at all. Or do you believe you can pick on anyone just because you're from a prestigious family?" Tilly watches the whole thing, her little fists clenched. This kid completely ruined her vibe. How dare he disrespect her family? The Lore kid stammers, flustered by Kier's comeback. And that's when our girl makes her move. She points a tiny, determined finger right at him. With all the righteous fury a toddler can muster, she roars, "Your hair color is filthier than ours." The kid is shook. Duluth bursts out laughing as Tilly crosses her arms, looking like the tiny savage queen she is. Suddenly, a familiar voice cuts in. It's Theseus. He looks surprised to see Tilly. The Lore kid, June, shrinks back in embarrassment. Kier doesn't miss a beat. "What happened? Your friend just disregarded us and called us filthy heads." Theseus' friendly expression immediately freezes over. He turns to June, who starts to tremble. Theseus offers a quick, insincere sorry about that, but Duluth is fuming. Karen, however, decides they're above it. "We don't need any insincere apologies," he says, taking his siblings and walking away. Tilly is a little sad she didn't get to thank Theseus, but decides she'll catch him next time. But as they return to their parents, they walk into another tense situation. A dark-haired man is telling their father to get his hands off the mining project. "You are unworthy of the job," the man says with an icy glare. "This is supposed to be their party, and this jerk is ruining it." Henrik is trying his best to stay composed. "Thank you for your advice, Duke Lore," he says through gritted teeth. Tilly's tiny heart plummets. Duke Lore? She just dealt with Mini Lore, and now there's a full-sized one. Seriously, what is wrong with this family's manners? The Duke sneers. "Well, if you knew your place, you wouldn't have brought red hairs to this party." The cruel words hang in the air, and Tilly freezes in shock. Henrik's face turns to stone. "Did you just—" Tilly looks up and sees a dark, twisted sun symbol over the Duke's head, radiating pure cold. Her father's hands are clenched into tight fists. "You should apologize, Duke Lore," he demands, his voice trembling with rage. "You have insulted 2 of my family members." Henrik is shaking, ready to fight a Duke for his family's honor. But the Duke just scoffs at the lowly Viscount. Just as things are about to explode, a graceful voice chimes in. "Oh dear, it looks like everyone is having fun without me. It's Her Majesty, the Empress." Duke Lore immediately tries to dismiss the situation, but the Empress's sharp eyes miss nothing. She strides between them, a perfect, powerful barrier. Her gaze softens as she spots Tilly. "Isn't this Miss Tilias? How lovely," she exclaims, scooping our girl into her arms. After a moment, she turns to Duke Lore. "By the way, Duke Lore, where is your child?" Tilly groans internally. "Not again." The Duke calls June over, who trudges forward reluctantly. The little brat stands there with his arms crossed, expecting them to greet him first. Care, ever the bigger person, forces his brother into a bow, and they exchange curt introductions. Tilly trembles with annoyance, forced to pretend everything is fine. What's even worse is the way June keeps glaring at her. With the Empress watching, Bellora's finally back down. Tilly breathes a sigh of relief, but it's short-lived. That little weirdo June is following her. "Why do you keep following me?" she demands. He flushes bright red, stammering that he was just going to the dessert table. Just then, Duke Lore calls for his son, and they finally leave. With the drama over, the party's energy starts to fade, as guests murmur about leaving too. But the Empress won't have it. She raises her glass high. "Let's all raise our glasses to Viscount Linden." The crowd roars in agreement, and the festive mood is instantly restored. The Empress single-handedly saved the night, and Tilly smiles, seeing her parents happy again. Back at home, the kids reflect on the chaotic party during their lessons. Their tutor praises them for handling the Lores so well. They discuss how to deal with bullies, with Kier wisely stating they must intelligently use words to kick their bottoms. But Duluth is still fuming. The tutor then reveals a shocking fact. The Lore family is the most powerful noble family in the Empire, second only to the Empress herself. The kids are stunned. No wonder they were so arrogant. The Duke is even known as the cold-blooded Duke, for his icy demeanor. Tilly decides they must be the most ignorant father-son duo in history. Even their tutor can't stand them, admitting she despises the snobbish son. Later, Tilly mulls everything over. This explains the Lore's different, more menacing vibe. She pulls out her secret weapon, a drawing of all the nobles she met, complete with the weather signs she saw above their heads. This is how she'll win. She'll use this knowledge to expose the cheaters and get people on her side. But first, she has another target, Viscount Dalton, the man who provoked her father even before the Lores did. The thought of him makes her so angry she wants to crush something. She almost crumples her drawing but stops herself. Her eyes land on the picture of Thesis. Why didn't he have a sign? And why did Jun's sun symbol get bigger when he saw her? There are still so many unanswered questions. She rolls up her notes. She needs more data. She needs to see more people. Her thoughts are interrupted by the sound of swords clashing. Her brothers are training with their handsome new swordmaster, Sir Demian. Tilly watches from the window, impressed. Her tutor was right, he's gorgeous. Her mother joins her, and they head outside to say hello. Tilly gives a polite bow, and as Sir Demian greets her, she sees a warm, glowing sun above his head. A good person. Her mom asks about the boys' progress, and Demian praises their potential. But their training is quickly derailed by another bickering match. Demian and Julia walk over to mediate. The swordmaster calmly tells them to spar again. While he watches, the boys get into position, their eyes blazing with fiery determination. Here we go. The next thrilling chapter starts now. Our boys are facing off in the training yard, and the instructor gives the signal, fight, and bam. Duluth wastes no time, immediately whacking Kier right across the face with his wooden sword. Kieran takes the hit, thinking to himself that Duluth isn't as strong as him physically, but he knows his brother's power is no joke. Kier expertly swirls his sword, and in a flash, he parries the next attack, making a perfect counter. Sir Demian, their instructor, watches with a surprised look. He's impressed, thinking Kier's power is just as strong as he expected. But Kier is in a total bind. He gulps, realizing he's got the upper hand now. He could easily overwhelm Duluth, who's already wobbling under the pressure, but he's scared he might actually hurt him. Plus, he's not ready to show his full power to Sir Demian and the others just yet. But just as he's hesitating, Duluth's sweaty hand slips on his sword. He sees his chance. With a savage whack, he knocks the sword clean out of Kier's hand, sending it clattering to the ground. The onlookers gasp in shock. Sir Demian calls the match. Stop. Duluth wins. And Duluth absolutely beams with pride. He's over the moon, shouting, "Yes, I finally won," as he looks for praise from his family. Karen places a hand over his heart, a soft expression on his face. He knows if he'd gone all out, he wouldn't have gotten to see his brother's precious, happy smile. Sir Demian pats him on the shoulder, telling him he did a good job. Karen just looks up at his instructor, content. He explains that even though he lost, he's satisfied just seeing Duluth so happy. Just then, our little nugget Tilly comes running up. "Kier, I saw that. You were great." Kier is about to thank her, but Duluth swoops in, grabbing his brother and puffing out his chest. Tilly, what about me? Wasn't I better? Tilly stammers. Why yeah, you did great too. Sir Demian smirks, realizing Keir threw the match on purpose, but decides to keep it a secret. But elsewhere, things are far from happy. A fist slams down on a table in a rage. Those bastards! It's Viscount Dalton and his mistress. He's furious about the Linden family acquiring a mine. She tries to calm him down, her hand reaching for his, telling him to relax. But he's seething, blaming our little Tilly for ruining his scheme to scam a woman out of her money and secrets. The mistress tries to soothe him, saying the mining project might get turned over to Duke Lore anyway. But then she gets catty, wondering why a perfect man like Viscount Linden has a wife with such dreadful red hair. She taps Dalton's hand, saying she would have cheated on him immediately. She scoffs that everyone in high society is a hypocrite, just holding back their true desires. What a piece of work. She pats his cheek, changing the subject. What happened with the report on the redheads? He admits the Empress didn't seem to care, and still trusts the Linden family. Her face darkens with a nasty glare. Are you kidding me? You can't even handle this? She snaps, and the Viscount flinches. She grabs his chin with a menacing grip. Do it right the next time, she hisses. Unless you want something bad to happen. Terrified, he quickly brings up a new idea. He mentions that Viscount Linden warned him about weak ground at the mine. Her interest is piqued. Dalton lays out his evil plan. Send more people to the weak area, without anyone knowing, and cause a deliberate accident. Suddenly, we see a vision of a mine collapsing, a worker screaming for help. A man pants, delivering the horrible news. People are buried in the mine. The Viscount demands to know how many are trapped. In a flashback, we see him getting the initial report. The tunnel collapsed suddenly, and they have no idea how many are still alive. At the scene, Viscount Linden is frantic, grabbing a worker by the collar. How are the workers? Did you save them all? He asks if they've called for help, but the man gives him grim news. The rescue team is here, but the tunnel is too unstable to save everyone. The injured workers can only sit and wait helplessly. To make things worse, the man suggests they should just give up. You can always find more workers, my lord, he says with a chilling lack of empathy. Viscount Linden explodes. What? Are you suggesting we don't worry when people's lives are in danger? He turns to the crowd, his voice ringing with authority. I know these tunnels by heart. I can find the best route to get to them. He visualizes the map in his head. When a worker protests that it's too dangerous, the Viscount's eyes harden with resolve. Then I'll save them myself. He repeats it, his voice unwavering. If no one dares to go in, I will save them myself. The workers try to stop him, terrified he'll get hurt, but he brushes them aside. This is nothing. He declares that he was tasked by the Empress to protect these people, and he will take responsibility. He pulls on his gloves, ready to face the danger. He knows the tunnels could collapse again, so he makes a heart-wrenching decision. If I get trapped, he tells the rescue team, do not attempt to save me. Destroy the tunnel immediately. The workers are absolutely shocked. He won't let their families suffer because of him. Moved by his incredible bravery, one worker steps forward. I will follow you, my lord. And then another and another, all inspired to help save their comrades. The Viscount offers a grateful smile. Thank you. Hours crawl by. The people outside are losing hope, debating if they should just seal the mine for good. As the sun sets, it seems like all is lost. But suddenly, a shout pierces the night. Wait, I see workers, and Viscount Linden is with them. It was a miracle. He came back alive. The crowd goes wild with relief and joy, cheering his name. God bless Viscount Linden echoes through the land, and soon, songs and poems are written about his heroic deed. The Empress hears the story, and our girl's daddy returns home a hero, with a long vacation and a fat reward. Tilly is ecstatic, running into her father's arms. The family is finally reunited and happy. But as she's being hugged, a dark memory surfaces, a memory of being lonely and abandoned in her past life. Her tiny heart begins to throb with a familiar crushing anxiety. Her heart pounds in her chest. She's so happy, but the fear is overwhelming. She clenches her dress, trying to ground herself. This is a different life, she whispers. The horrible things from her past won't happen again. Her father notices her pale face, and Tilly forces a bright smile, insisting she's fine. But their happy reunion is cut short by a knock on the door. Is Lady Linden here? It's the snake himself, Viscount Dalton. Lady Linden's face is a mask of ice. He says he's here to speak with her specifically, and Tilly glares daggers at him as he saunters in. He has the audacity to smirk and comment on how much she's grown. Lady Linden isn't playing games. Why are you here? She demands. He calls her outspoken. Before dropping his bomb, you should rethink sending your kids to the academy in the capital. She's stunned. Are you threatening me? He just taps his hair. Isn't it obvious? Your hair color. He sneers that rumors about cursed redheads will spread like wildfire at the academy, and her children will be tormented. Lady Linden trembles with fury, telling him to stop. But that's the last straw for Tilly. She unleashes her full fury. You dirtbag. You cheater. Stop talking rubbish. Dalton's face twists into an ugly snarl. Mama Bear mode activated. Lady Linden shields Tilly, and orders Dalton to leave their house immediately. As he leaves, he throws one last poison dart. You shouldn't send your kids to the academy if you don't want to stand in their way. After he's gone, Tilly asks if her mom is okay. Lady Linden claims she's fine, but her shaking hands betray her fear. Tilly's heart breaks. She knows her mother's dream of giving her children a better education is being shattered. She clenches her fist, a storm brewing in her little heart. Later that night, her father learns what happened. His eyes turn icy cold. He vows to keep a closer watch on Dalton, who is already plotting his next move with a letter in hand. They know this creep won't stop, and they were right. The family is forced to confront Dalton again. Viscount Linden is shaking with rage. He's messing with our children's education. They received a letter from the academy, officially denying admission to any children with red hair. It has Dalton's grubby fingerprints all over it. The Viscount can't take it anymore. Lady Linden clenches her fists. I can handle what people say about my hair, she says, her voice trembling, but I will not tolerate anyone messing with our children. Her husband's eyes flash with deadly intent. I agree. We'll confront him tomorrow. The next day, the entire Linden family stands united against the slimy Viscount Dalton. He's as smug as ever, making a snide remark about their hair. But Viscount Linden claps back with a savage burn, calling Dalton garbage that the royal gardeners forgot to remove. Dalton is left speechless and sputtering, completely flustered. He tries to blame Tilly, the child, for insulting him first, telling her to keep her mouth shut. But Viscount Linden isn't having it. Why do you blame a child when it was you who couldn't keep your manhood where it belongs? Oh, the shade. Dalton screeches in fury, but Lady Linden steps forward. She calmly states that it's more fair to judge him for his adultery than for them to be judged for their hair color. Yes, Queen, go off. Dalton just smirks, completely unbothered by the truth. Go on, keep babbling, he taunts. Let's see if you can keep that up in front of Duke Lore. And right on cue, the Duke himself appears. Tilly freezes in horror. Will he take your side? The Duke approaches them with an unreadable expression. While Dalton looks like the cat that got the cream, Tilly is floored. Dalton is working with Duke Lore? He's trying to use a higher power to crush them. How utterly childish. A wicked idea sparks in Tilly's eyes. Well, she thinks, let me show you what it really means to be childish. She knows that the world often forgives the actions of a cute, innocent-looking kid. She marches right up to Dalton. He looks down, annoyed. What, kid? Got something to say? I might be over 20, she thinks, but right now I'm just a little kid. With a ferocious snarl, she bites his hand. Everyone is stunned. And then in the most pathetic display ever, Viscount Dalton faints from the shock. Tilly is just bewildered. Did that little nibble really knock him out? What an absolute weakling. The story spreads through the palace like wildfire, and everyone finds it hilarious. A handsome silver-haired noble even grins, saying now he understands why the Empress favors this chaotic little child. He is thoroughly amused. Later, Mom tries to lecture a pouting Tilly. You need to apologize. But Tilly refuses. Apologize? For what? This is nothing compared to what Dalton did. But then Daddy comes to the rescue. Tilly, there's no need to apologize, he says with a wink. Dalton must be very frail to collapse from a little bite. Tilly's face lights up. Yay, Daddy. But her mom isn't letting it go. You heard him, Tilly. Let's go apologize. Tilly's face falls again, but her dad adds mysteriously, but a little differently. Differently? How? Her parents just share a knowing look, leaving Tilly totally confused. Lady Linden approaches a maid at Dalton's residence, politely inquiring about the Viscount's condition. She says they'd like to apologize as soon as he wakes up. The maid says he's still sleeping, but Lady Linden's stare is intense. The maid nervously turns away and suggests they wait inside. Lady Linden turns to Tilly with a sweet, dangerous smile. My dear Tilly, just do as you were taught. The door creaks open, and you just know this is gonna be good. The Viscountess glides in, her expression like ice. She states coolly, if the servants stop him from getting the apology that he rightfully deserves, there's nothing more for me to say. She'd rather just send a letter, but the flustered servant quickly relents, showing them the way. As they enter, the whispers start immediately. That hair? She must be Lady Linden, one noble murmurs. The child must be the one who injured Viscount Dalton. Another sneers. And there he is, the so-called injured Viscount, lounging in his bed looking perfectly fine. Tilly peeks over the covers and thinks, he looks ugly even when he's sleeping. Our girl is savage. She can't believe this man is pretending to be knocked out by a little bite. Suddenly, his eyes snap open with a smug smirk. So you are here to apologize? He gloats. Tilly takes a deep breath, ready to unleash the performance of a lifetime. This is all my fault, she wails, collapsing to the floor in a dramatic heap. The crocodile tears start flowing, big and sparkly. She trembles, her little hands clenched, sobbing. I'm so sorry. The crowd absolutely eats it up. Dear me, what a poor child. A lady whispers, completely fooled. The sentiment shifts instantly. What did Viscount Dalton do to the kid? Dalton's face twists in rage. Lindens, you psychopaths. He can't believe what's happening. The Viscountess then delivers the killing blow. She bows gracefully, saying, I truly apologize. But her words are pure venom. To collapse from Tilly biting you. I never thought you would be this feeble. Dalton snaps. How insolent. She just gives him a look of pity and drops the final bomb. By the way, Duke Lore must still be waiting for you outside. The Viscount's blood runs cold. A jolt of pure terror shoots through him. He starts screaming at his servants. Why are you all standing here? Go tell the Duke that I've been injured. But it's too late. The man himself is waiting outside, radiating an icy aura. The Duke's eyes are cold and unforgiving. Dalton scrambles out, bowing and scraping. My lord, my sincere apologies. The Duke cuts him off. I do not wish to see any more of your obscenity. He turns, his voice dripping with contempt. You should have done it right the first time. How can you even ask for more, being this incompetent? With a slam of the carriage door, he's gone, leaving Dalton utterly humiliated. He clenches his fist, shaking with rage. The onlookers gossip about how harsh he was to the child. A man approaches Dalton saying he also detests the red-headed Lindens and offers his help. But Dalton is spiraling. His mind shatters like glass. The Duke had approved his plan, and now he calls him incompetent just because he failed once? Damn it, he screams in his mind. Meanwhile, our little mastermind is getting head pats from her dad. He praises her for her amazing apology, telling her the brothers are off sword fighting. Tilly grins, thinking now that everyone at the palace knows, there is nothing more that Viscount Dalton can do. We won. But she celebrated too soon. A blood-curdling scream echoes through the garden. You cursed redheads, let me get rid of you all. It's Dalton, and he's completely lost it. He's charging at them with a real actual sword. Tilly freezes. Is he coming to get me, a child, for real? Yes. Yes, he is. The man is out of his mind. He screams, his face contorted with rage. I never liked your family from the start, especially that red-haired brat. Our poor girl trembles in fear. It's all because of you, he roars, bringing the sword down. Clang, a flash of white and silver. Someone has appeared, blocking the sword, just in time. Tilly's eyes widen, in shock. It's the silver-haired boy, looking calm and collected. That was close, he says, turning to her. Tilly, are you okay? It's Theseus. With his silver hair and piercing blue eyes, he looks like a celestial being. Dalton is livid. Theseus doesn't even flinch. He just presses his blade against Dalton's throat. Do you have any more words to say? He asks, his voice dangerously quiet. The crowd gasps. Dalton's sword clatters to the ground. He's shaking, defeated. He tries to run, but Theseus just whacks him with the flat of his blade. How pathetic. Theseus reaches a hand out to Tilly. Are you all right? She takes it, and her heart goes badum. She immediately scolds herself. I'm mentally a 20-year-old person. I shouldn't fall for a kid this young. Her family rushes to her side, frantic with worry. Her father holds her tight. Her brother Keir steps forward to give a formal greeting, bowing deeply. But then the silver-haired boy takes Tilly's hand. My name is Theseus Lacan Etlad, he says with a gentle smile. The Imperial Prince of Etlad Empire. Tilly's brain short-circuits. The Imperial Prince. She remembers reading about him. He's the one and only heir to the entire empire. No wonder she kept running into him at the palace. He wasn't just handsome, he was actual Prince Charming. She stammers out a thank you, and he just laughs. Leaning in close, he whispers, I'll see you again. And her heart does another chaotic flutter. She shakes her head, trying to get a grip. Thanks to the prince, the crisis is over. Tilly knows Dalton won't be a problem for a while, but she realizes she could have been faster. She can't let this happen again. Her brothers find her on the stairs. Duluth sweeps her into a crushing hug, sobbing that he was so worried he might lose her. He holds her tight, promising to save her next time. But Tilly notices Keir looks sad. She realizes he must have heard what Dalton said about the academy. Holding his book tightly, he looks utterly dejected. So our girl steps in, patting his arm. Don't worry, you'll get in for sure. She gives him a brilliant smile. There's a way to deal with what Dalton has claimed. He pats her head, a small smile finally reaching his face. Meanwhile, in a dark, rainy mansion, Dalton is getting screamed at by his wife. How could you be so disgraceful in front of the Imperial Prince? She yells. He snaps back, telling her to stop nagging. She despairs, realizing they failed to bring the Lindens down and took a major hit themselves. All her husband's flaws will be exposed, and she'll be divorced and ruined. She realizes it's already too late. She changes her tune, her voice suddenly sweet. Sweetie, I'm sorry for arguing. Should we look out the balcony to cool down? She reaches for his back. The time's now, she thinks. He wobbles, and with a final shove, he goes flying over the railing into the stormy night. She watches him fall, hearing the distant splash. A wicked smirk spreads across her face. It's done. This is perfect from the start. The morning paper reports the news. A dead body found near Lake Bridge. The public immediately blames the curse of the red hair, thinking he was involved with the Lindens. Tilly reads the news with a sigh, but she's suspicious. It's infuriating, but I need to pay more attention to the death of Viscount Dalton. A man that greedy wouldn't just fall. Something's up. The official cause of death is falling. Duke Lore reads the report and scoffs, tossing it aside without a second thought. Just then, his butler announces a visitor. Though he wasn't expecting anyone, a pair of legs in stunning black lace stockings strides into the room. It's the beautiful Countess Lebeek. The Duke rises to greet her, a polite smile on his face. She apologizes for the intrusion, then gets straight to the point. If I can amuse you with an offer more interesting than a life of a mere creature, will you be able to forgive me? She purrs, a sly grin on her face. The Duke's eyes narrow. This is not amusing at all. What do you know about what I want? He asks, his voice dangerously low. She leans in and whispers the magic words. The Linden family. Wouldn't you want to see them vanish? His expression turns cold and calculating. A slow, wicked smile spreads across his face. Welcome to my residence, he says, extending a hand. The Countess grins back. A new, terrifying alliance has just been formed. A few years fly by, and suddenly it's Tilly's 9th birthday. Time has flown, and her family gathers to celebrate. Keir and Duluth are now 17 and 16. She thanks Keir happily. She thinks back to the day she was found, so grateful for this loving family she never could have dreamed of. Her father gives her a beautiful ruby necklace, and she tells him it's the best gift ever. But beneath the happiness, a problem festers. Because her father is only a viscount, a rank Duke Lore has made sure he can't surpass. They face endless discrimination. The Duke even had her brothers barred from entering the academy. She remembers overhearing them talking about it. Duluth was angry, but Kier just said they had to wait because they didn't have any power. Tilly turns away, her expression determined. She's not waiting anymore. For sure she will help her daddy get the title of a count. She knows Duke Lore will be at her birthday party at the palace. She squeezes the necklace tight. It will soon be her time to shine and show everyone how much she's grown. Here is your GOAT Manhwa recap script. A few years have passed and our boy Tessie is shining brighter than ever. He looks at our girl and says, "I always missed you, Tilly." My heart. Her poor little heart just goes bad. She's completely flustered, trying to keep her cool. Calm down, girl. Calm down. Of course she just smiles and says she's been well, not mentioning all the annoying things she's had to deal with, especially from that irritating pest, June Lore. And speak of the devil, suddenly, a voice cuts in. It's Tessie's brother, confronting June. What are you doing here? I heard you bullying someone. June immediately gets defensive, shouting that it wasn't bullying. Tessie's friendly expression vanishes. His voice turns to absolute ice as he repeats Jun's words. That girl? The temperature in the room drops 10 degrees as he asks, "Do you think it's right for you to treat the daughter of the Lindens like that?" Oh, you better believe June flinches. He knows he's been caught, but this punk tries to laugh it off, smirking as he mocks Tessie's polite way of speaking. That's it, Tessie snaps. In a flash, steel rings out as Tessie draws his sword, holding it right at Jun's throat. June can't believe it. This is ridiculous, he thinks. He tries to get under Tessie's skin, with a nasty smirk, wielding a sword just for a redhead. Do you admire her that much? Tessie's glare could freeze hell over. Suddenly, our tiny heroine throws herself right between them. Both of you stop. What are you doing at my birthday party? Tessie immediately sheathes his sword and apologizes for frightening her. But Tilly realizes something. She was more afraid of Jun's actions, but it was Tessie's furious look that truly shook her. It was a cold, bitter expression she had never seen on her gentle friend before. That was very careless of me. Tessie apologizes again, his voice soft. All the while, June is just seething in the corner, having been utterly humiliated. But our girl isn't done with him. She whirls around, her eyes blazing, and tells him to go away. June is absolutely stunned by her tone. She lays into him. You were disrespectful, you depreciated my looks, and you grabbed me. He's got nothing. Utterly speechless, he just says he's leaving. I'll say this one last time, she warns, her voice sharp. Don't try talking to me ever. The finality of her words hits June like a physical blow. Forever. As he slinks away, Tessie turns to Tilly, a proud smile on his face. What you did just now was awesome, Tilly. She brushes it off, saying it was just logical. Tessie laughs, agreeing that June totally deserved it for his bullying. She remembers the gift he gave her earlier, a box with a single creepy ant. Ugh, she groans. Maybe it's better to just throw it away without even looking. Seeing her distress, Tessie's smile softens. He gently takes her hand and gives her a little swirl. Let's forget what just happened and have fun, he says, leading her away. She looks at their joined hands, thinking about how different he is from the awful Jun. Tessie is a true Prince Charming. He then stops and formally asks, Lady Tilias, will you take my hand for a dance? He holds her hand so gently like she's made of glass. Our girl immediately panics. A dance? She barely practiced. Tessie just smiles, reaching for her. Don't worry, you'll be fine. And then, he lifts her hand to his lips for a soft peck. Tilly's brain completely short-circuits. Is this not in your favor, my lady? He asks, his eyes sparkling. Her heart is a drum solo in her chest. And not at all, your highness. I'd love to. As they begin to dance, she's shocked. She's never moved so well, so effortlessly. She looks up at him, breathless. It's probably because I'm dancing with you, Tessie. And now it's his turn to blush. He gets all shy, stammering. Huh? Like what? He's too cute. She giggles. Okay, I won't say this to anyone else. Then she tugs on his sleeve, her voice soft. Oh, and they look like a fairy tale, lost in their own world on the dance floor. She's completely mesmerized, a brilliant smile on her face. But from the shadows, someone is watching. A pair of feet stand still, their owner's eyes fixed on the dancing pair. A few years pass, and Theseus is more handsome than ever, telling Tilly, I always missed you. And her heart still skips a beat. She tells herself to calm down, completely flustered. She keeps her troubles to herself, not mentioning the constant annoyance from people like Jun Lore. This brings us back to the party, where Tessie's brother steps in, hearing June bullying someone. June immediately denies it, shouting back. Tessie's eyes turn to chips of ice. That girl? He challenges June, his voice dangerously low. Do you think it's right to treat the daughter of the Lindens like that? June flinches, but tries to cover it with a sneer, mocking Tessie's formal speech. Tessie has had enough. Swords clash as he pins June, the sound ringing through the hall. June thinks this is insane. But he can't resist a taunt. Wielding a sword for a redhead, he smirks. Tessie's glare is absolutely lethal. That's when Tilly jumps between them, demanding they stop. Tessie immediately backs down, apologizing. But she can't forget that furious, cold look on his face. It was so unlike the Tessie she knew. He apologizes again for being careless. While June fumes in the background, Tilly then turns on June, telling him to get lost. He's stunned. She reminds him of how rude he was, grabbing her without permission. He stammers, defeated, and turns to leave. But she gets the last word. Forever. Don't ever talk to me again. The savage takedown leaves June completely shattered. Let's move there, Tessie, she says, turning her back on the drama. Tessie is beaming. That was awesome, Tilly. She says it was just logical, and Tessie agrees June deserved it. She flashes back to the creepy ant in a box gift from June and shivers. She groans, thinking she should just toss the whole thing. Tessie sees her expression and gives her a gentle smile. He takes her hand and gives her a little swirl, distracting her. She thinks about how considerate he is, then he asks her for a dance. He takes her hand, and the world seems to light up. But she's panicking internally. She can't dance. He just smiles and reassures her. And then he kisses her hand, leaving our girl completely shocked. "Is this not to your liking, my lady?" he asks smoothly. Her heart thumps as she agrees to the dance. They glide across the floor perfectly. She tells him it's all because of him, and a cute blush dusts his cheeks. He gets all shy and flustered, which she finds absolutely adorable. She tugs his sleeve and wishes him a happy birthday. They look like something out of a dream. And she's completely lost in the moment, thanking him with a radiant smile. But their perfect dance is being watched. Someone's eyes are locked on Tilly from across the room. After the dance, Tessie asks if she wants a birthday present, but she reveals she already sent a huge one to his home. She's impressed by the scale of a royal prince. He offers to get her anything she desires, but she politely declines with a curtsy. The dance was more than enough of a gift. Tessie, however, isn't done. "Do you know any other dances?" He puffs out his chest proudly. "Anything is possible for me. Shall we dance again?" Just as he reaches for her, they're interrupted. It's her brothers, Kier and Duluth. They walk over, and Tilly makes the introductions. Tessie's smile seems a little strained. As they greet each other, Tilly notices her older brother Kier looks incredibly nervous. Karen stiffly tells the prince he was just making sure Tilly wasn't causing any trouble. Tilly is mortified and grabs his sleeve. "Kier, no." She quickly defends herself, explaining that Tessie was the one who wanted to dance. But then Duluth blurts out, "Tilly is an able dancer. Our poor girl wants to die of embarrassment." She can see Kier as being way too defensive and decides to handle it. She excuses herself to get juice with her brothers, promising Tessie she'll be right back. He looks so sad to see her go. Away from the prince, Kier lectures her, but she insists they were just having fun. She sips her drink, realizing he's worried about their difference in social status. He's picturing Tessie as a future emperor, far out of her league. She sweats, thinking it's not like they're going to get married. Besides, she's mentally an adult. Kiera just sighs, still worried. He insists she shouldn't disturb such a busy person. Tilly's eyes narrow. She gets straight to the point. "Kier, you don't like me hanging out with Tessie, do you?" She tries to use her puppy dog eyes, but he tells her to stop acting cute. He scolds her for being too informal, and she groans. "Tessie started it." Duluth, the chill brother, tells Kier to relax while munching on cookies. He then reveals his master plan. If Tilly becomes friends with the prince, they might get invited to his empire. But Kier is still hung up on politics and propriety. Tilly has had enough and bolts. She finds a quiet spot in the garden to hide, catching her breath. She knows Kier is just being overprotective. She glances around, trying to get her bearings, but it's dark. And she realizes, she calls out for Tessie, but her voice is swallowed by the night. Suddenly, a voice cuts through the darkness. "Redhead." Our girl jumps, startled. It's June Lore, looking smug. "I was wondering what that screeching noise was." He mocks her for shouting the prince's name so loudly. He's annoying, but he can help her. She fumbles for a moment. Not wanting to touch him, she finds a stick and holds it out. "Hold this and lead the way." He looks at the stick, completely insulted. "You hold Etlad's hand without any problem," he says bitterly. She snaps back. "Tessie is different." He scoffs. "Because he is a royal, and I'm just a son of a duke?" Then he says the one thing he shouldn't have. "You are too fussy even for a redhead." The air goes still. The stick drops from her hand. A sharp slap echoes through the garden. She hit him. Hard. Her body trembles with rage as she glares at him, demanding he apologize. "Apologize right now," she screams. June is left holding his stinging cheek, utterly stunned by the ferocity of this little redhead. Here is your GOAT YouTube manhwa recap. Our girl stands her ground against the moody duke's son. He scoffs internally. "You wanted to see me cry? But do you think this is the first time I've heard an insult?" His voice trembles with rage and hurt. "I've heard it too many times, but it still makes me sad." His little fist clenches at his side, but our heroine is having none of it. She snaps that she thought he'd grown out of these childish games. She lays down the law, telling him it's not his status, it's his terrible manners. With a final savage blow, she calls him an incurably spoiled brat. June is completely stunned. His crimson eye widens in shock. Tilly fumes, thinking he could have just refused politely instead of being a jerk. He just stands there, utterly speechless. She decides to shut her mouth before she starts sounding like a 30-year-old woman in a child's body. He just bites his lip, looking lost. There's a tense silence in the moonlit clearing. Tilly sighs, figuring she's still in the palace and can find her own way back. June looks like he's about to say something, struggling to get the words out. Just as she turns, wondering if he's actually going to apologize, a voice cuts through the air, calling her name. Her eyes widen. She knows that voice. A flash of white and silver, and suddenly she's being swept off her feet. It's Tessie, her prince, wrapping her in a massive hug. She's completely enveloped in his embrace, flowers blooming all around them. He pulls back slightly, his voice full of concern. "You took longer than expected, so I came looking for you. I'm so glad I found you." He gives her the most heart-stopping smile, and our girl's heart just goes batum. He was worried about her. In that short period of time he thought of her. She feels butterflies erupting in her stomach as he calls her name. "Tilly, are you all right? Your face is red," he asks, looking concerned. She stammers that she's fine, her face a chaotic, adorable mess. Just then the other boys arrive, and Kier calls out to the lone figure in the shadows. June is just standing there, watching them, his hand on his sword. His expression is completely unreadable, a mask of ice. Tessie confronts him, asking what's wrong with his face. "Nothing," June mutters, turning away. But Tessie isn't buying it for a second. He threatens to tell Duke Lore what happened unless June comes clean. June actually flinches at the mention of his father. June deflects, telling him to ask Tilly. Our girl quickly covers, saying she just got lost. Tessie accepts her story for now and takes her hand, saying it's time to go. She smiles up at him, agreeing that nothing happened. June watches them leave, knowing she only lied because it would be a disgrace for him, the Duke's son, to be slapped by a cursed redhead. He thinks it's better for both of them to keep quiet. The twins pop up, grabbing Tilly's other hand and telling her it's time to go home. Kier shoots a little scowl at Tessie holding Tilly's hand. The twins giggle, whispering that Kier is crushing on someone, and Tessie will find out soon enough. Back at the party, her dad rushes over, worried sick. Tilly is mortified, realizing she's now infamous for having a terrible sense of direction. After saying goodbye to the Empress, her dad wonders where June is. He's lurking in the background, as usual. Her dad notes that June keeps staring their way, even though his own father has lost interest. The Empress pulls Tilly aside with a warm smile. She asks if Tilly thought the party was her only gift, and our girl is confused. The Empress reveals that the real present has already been sent to her home. Tilly is floored by the honor. She realizes the Empress told her quietly so the other nobles wouldn't gossip. Before she leaves, she decides to say goodbye to Tessie. But of course he's totally surrounded by admirers. He's a royal prince after all. But then he looks up. He sees her. He gives her a little wave. Her heart soars. She mouths, "See you again, Tessie." He smiles and mouths back, "I'll see you again, Tilly." She thinks she sees him say something else, but her brother Duluth suddenly scoops her up. He plops her onto his shoulders and carries her off. As they leave, Tessie's attendant says it's time to go, but Tessie's eyes are cold as ice. "No," he says. "There is a reason to stay." He gives a chilling order. "Put a tail on him." June lore. His face is deadly serious. He's gonna make sure that boy doesn't do any harm to Tilias. Back at home, Tilly finds the prince's gift waiting for her. It's a beautiful white pony. The messenger confirms it's a gift from his highness. She's in awe. A beautiful horse with a golden mane, just like Tessie. The thought makes her blush. She reaches out a hand to her new friend. Her father explains that a white horse is a symbol of nobility in Tessie's empire. The messenger says the prince wants her to name the horse herself. Her face lights up with joy. She thinks for a moment. White, beautiful, like a flower. She decides her new horse's name is Peony, and she can't wait to thank Tessie in person. Next up, the Empress's gift. The twins are buzzing with excitement, hoping it's a jeweled sword. They rip it open to find a stunning green dress with matching shoes. Duluth is comically disappointed. It's not a sword. Tilly shows the adorable shoes to her mother, who is absolutely delighted. Of course they insist she try it on right now. Her mom gushes that the Empress knew the dress would look perfect on her. Tilly emerges. And wow, she looks like a real-life princess. She secretly admits that while she wanted a title for her dad, this isn't a bad birthday gift at all. She recalls hearing the Empress discuss her father's title at the party, but other nobles were resistant. The political scene is a minefield, with everyone waiting for them to make a mistake. Suddenly, her brother points to one last gift on the table. "Who gave you this one, Tilly?" She replies, "June lore." Kier is immediately on high alert, demanding she hand it over so he can destroy it. But Tilly hesitates. As much as she dislikes June, something feels off about throwing it away. Besides, who knows what trouble Duke Lore would cause if he found out. Bracing herself for bugs or trash, she opens the box and her eyes go wide. It's a gorgeous ruby bracelet. Her brothers are convinced it's a mistake and tell her to return it, but she insists he gave it to her himself. Then Kier gets a paranoid glint in his eye. Or, the bracelet might be coated with poison. He lunges for it, ready to destroy it, and the twins descend into absolute chaos. Tilly manages to calm them down, deciding to just put the suspicious gift away for now. Later that night, she sits on her bed, counting her presents. A horse, a dress, and a bracelet. She knows the other nobles avoided her because of the curse rumors, but this is still so much more than she ever had in her past life. Still, she can't get one thing out of her head. Why would June Lore give her something so beautiful? A wild thought crosses her mind, and her eyes widen. No way. She shakes her head, deciding to just get rid of it tomorrow. That night, she dreams of happy, carefree moments, lying in a field of flowers with Tessie. But a sobering thought intrudes. Is it really okay for them to be friends when he's destined to become the emperor? She tells her dream self to wake up. She's an adult on the inside and needs to keep her feelings in check. She wakes up with a strange sense of disappointment. The next morning at breakfast, Duluth is already pestering her about the bracelet. Did it attack you? She tells him to calm down. Then she turns to her father. "Daddy, I would love to visit Duke Lore's residence." Her poor father literally chokes on his drink. Her parents are shocked. Tilly explains she wants to ask June about the bracelet in person. They try to suggest meeting at the palace instead, but Tilly turns on the ultimate weapon, her puppy dog eyes. Her father caves instantly. Her mom is worried, but her dad promises he won't let anything happen to their little girl. He stands ready to send a letter, requesting a visit. At the Duke's mansion, the letter arrives. The Duke scoffs at the insolent request. When his aide asks if he should reject it, the Duke says no. He casually drops the letter on the floor, telling his aide to let them come tomorrow. He smirks, thinking they'll be treated just like that piece of trash. The next day, a nervous Tilly arrives, clutching her father's hand. She'd wondered how big the residence would be, but nothing prepared her for the sheer scale of the golden-gated palace. Her father is suspicious about how quickly their visit was approved. He warns her to be careful, but she's naively optimistic, hoping to change their minds about redheads. But their path is blocked by an icy figure, Lady Lore. She greets them with a venomous smirk, suggesting the real reason they aren't welcome at the palace is because they're redheads. Tilly is instantly furious. This woman is just as awful as her husband. Her father calls the lady out on her superstition, but the Duchess is unmoved. She declares that the lore residence does not welcome redheads. Only the Viscount may enter. The crushing realization hits Tilly. It was a trap. They were never going to let her in. Just then, a voice calls out for Mother. It's Jun, and he flinches when he sees Tilly. Seizing the opportunity, Tilly speaks up, telling the Duchess she's here to ask Jun a question, before his mother can refuse. Jun slams his books down, asking to speak with Tilly outside. His mother, surprisingly, allows it. He leads her into the garden. What do you want? He asks curtly. She holds up the bracelet. Is this really for me? She says if he made a mistake, he should take it back. He looks at her confused. What made you think that? She explains that there's no way he'd give her something so expensive. And that's not true, he yells, his face red with anger. Why are you making such assumptions? He goes on a tirade about how he hired the finest jeweler just to make it for her. He shoves his hair back in frustration. It's yours. Stop asking stupid questions. Tilly is just stunned into silence. She wonders why he's so mad. Is he just bragging about his wealth? Deciding she's had enough, she turns to leave. Yeah, well, it's not like I can enter your house anyway, she says coolly. I'm taking the bracelet. Don't ask for it back. He sees absolutely consumed by rage. As she walks away, he finally speaks, his voice low and intense. Is that so doubtful to you? Here we go. Our boy Jun looks absolutely heartbroken. Asking our little nugget, am I that doubtful to you? He presses on, his voice trembling slightly. Am I that doubtful to make you question even the birthday gift? But our girl is having none of it. She snaps back in her head. Of course you are, before pointing an accusatory finger right in his face. What? She lays into him. Think of all the things you've said and done to me. You are the one who made fun of me first, remember? He flinches, trying to defend himself. No, that was... She's on a roll now, and all of a sudden an expensive bracelet as a gift? There are more than enough reasons to be suspicious. This tiny powerhouse adds, I would understand if you gave me bugs instead. Oof, savage. With that, Jun turns to leave, his shoulders slumped. Anyways, I got what I came for. I'm leaving. Our girl hesitates. You are really leaving? He doesn't even look back, his voice icy. I have no intention to continue this conversation. Then he stops, adding, or is there something that you want to hear from me? And just like that, Tilly's entire demeanor flips. She clutches the beautiful bracelet, her eyes sparkling. So it really was for me? All her suspicion melts away into pure joy. What a lovely gift, she swoons. A radiant smile spreads across her face as she gives him a sincere, thank you. Jun just glances away, a faint blush on his cheeks. No, that's it. Just then, her dad's voice cuts through the moment. Tilias, are you done talking? She chirps back. Yes, Daddy. As her family prepares to leave, she notices Jun standing politely beside an incredibly lavish carriage. When did he get there? She wonders if he's just putting on an act for his mother. Hey, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Jun is startled by her sudden farewell. He quickly reaches out a hand to help her into the carriage. Take it. You might fall. She takes his hand, a small spark passing between them. Goodbye, the daughter of Lindens. She replies with a formal, farewell, the son of Lors, as he helps her up. The carriage clops away into the distance. As soon as she's gone, Jun's mother appears, her voice sharp. Jun Lor, what was she here for? Jun explains it was about the birthday party. I gave her a gift fit for the family of Duke. But his mother cuts him off, her voice dropping to a terrifying whisper. What did you give her? Her eyes are like ice. Did you give that cursed girl something she might value? Jun immediately lies, his hands fidgeting behind his back. No, mother, it was just some flowers. He forces a smile. The heir of the Lore family giving a valuable gift to a cursed child. I would be mad to do something like that. His mother's lips curl into a cold smile. Good. Her words are a threat. Maintain that mindset and behave accordingly. Also, refrain from spending time with that cursed girl. Now go back to your room. With a sharp clack of her heel, she turns and leaves him standing alone as the massive gates slam shut. Jun stands there in silence, utterly defeated. He looks down at his hand, the one that held Tilly's just moments ago. A frustrated thought crosses his mind as he blushes. Why can't I stop thinking about her? This is so annoying. Meanwhile, our heroine is back home and couldn't be happier. She rushes to the stables, calling for her favorite horse, Peony. As she's giving the adorable white horse a pat, a stranger greets her. Welcome back, Lady Linden. Tilly looks up, confused. Who are you? The man introduces himself as Dorothy, a caretaker sent by Prince Tilias to teach her horse riding. Tilly is immediately mesmerized by the literal sun shining above his head. She's absolutely thrilled. Thank you. I'll show off my skills to Tessie when I get better. But Dorothy stops her mid-celebration. His Highness will be pleased. You should practice in preparation for the day he comes back to the Kina Empire. Tilly freezes. Huh, you just said when he comes back? Dorothy seems surprised she didn't know. Oh, I guess you didn't hear. His Highness returned home a while back. The news hits her like a lightning bolt. Done. Her heart sinks. He went back already, without saying goodbye. She thought they were becoming friends, but he didn't mention anything about leaving. Dorothy just smiles kindly. Don't worry, you'll be able to meet His Highness soon enough. Would you care to look behind me? She cautiously peeps over her shoulder. Hoofbeats approach as a messenger on horseback gallops towards her. He's wearing the crest of the Etlad Empire. Tessie, the rider pulls up, chiding her for being reckless before handing over an envelope sealed with a royal crest. It's an invitation from His Highness. Her face lights up with pure excitement. An invitation from Tessie. It's a formal invitation to attend his appointment ceremony as the Crown Prince of the Etlad Empire. The letter asks for her whole family to attend. She finally understands. Appointment as the Crown Prince, that's why he went back. But as she scans the letter, she spots a little something extra at the bottom. A handwritten note that makes her heart do a backflip. Tilly, I really miss you. BA dump. She blushes furiously, thinking, so this is what flirting looks like. The whole Linden family gathers to discuss the invitation. Her father sweetly says he wants her to marry for love, while her brothers just laugh. Tilly thinks Tessie needs to be more discreet with his flirting. She turns to her dad. So will we be going to the Etlad Empire, father? Her brothers are practically bouncing off the walls. Of course, His Highness sent the invitation himself, and he said he misses Tilly. We should go. After all, it's not every day they get invited to such an important official ceremony. Tilly beams. She'll finally get to see Tessie again, and gathers so much new data. That night, she dreams she's at a grand ball. She spots a man in a familiar blue uniform. It's Tessie, and he's walking straight towards her. He takes her hand, his voice a soft whisper, "I missed you, Tilly." And she's so startled she wakes up with a jolt. She finds herself slumped against the window, dazed. When did I fall asleep? The family finalizes their plans. It's an official royal invitation they can't possibly decline. Plus, her mother points out that most people in the Etlad Empire don't believe in the redhead curse. Maybe that's why Tessie approached me without any fear, Tilly realizes. She daydreams about seeing him in that handsome uniform from her dream. And that note, "I really miss you, Tilly." The memory makes her giddy. She can't wait to see him. But then our little businesswoman gets serious. This is a golden opportunity to collect data. She needs to understand the weather signs of the Etlad Empire's people, which could unlock the secrets behind rare cases like Tessie and June. She thinks about Jun's growing sun. Does a bigger and brighter sun represent growing feelings? The thought of him blushing makes her ponder. She decides she needs a second opinion, and goes to find her brother Kier. "Does June Lore seem like he likes me?" she asks bluntly. "He gave me a birthday present." Kier immediately stops his sword practice. His face twists. "June Lore," she explains. "No, but he acts like he does with the bracelet and everything at the party." A chill runs down Kier's spine. He asks if she fell for Jun because of his gift, and she practically explodes. "No way, I'm not a snob." Kier visibly relaxes, a sly smile on his face. He mumbles to himself, "So it looks like June likes Tilly. Good thing it's not the other way around." He turns to her, his expression suddenly intense. He gently pats her head. "You are the prettiest girl in the world," he says sweetly. "It's no wonder a boy like him falls for you." Then his hand tightens on his wooden sword. "Tilly promised to let me know once he tells you how he feels." His voice drops, and a terrifying aura surrounds him. "So I can get to him first with this sword." Tilly stares in absolute horror. He swings the sword with a powerful swoosh. Anyone approaching Tilly with an ulterior motive, he declares, his eyes glowing, "Will have to go through me first." He's literally radiating a fiery aura of overprotective rage. Tilly wisely decides it's time to flee. "I need to get as far away as possible from Kier for now." She immediately runs to her other brother, Duluth, for a more sane perspective. Duluth is baffled. "He's been humiliating you. I would never think he has any feelings for you." Then he has a stroke of genius. Or, this might be it. He must be going through puberty. Tilly's eyes widen. "Puberty?" Duluth explains that's why he's trying to show off by giving her an expensive bracelet. And honestly, it kinda makes sense. She shows Duluth her masterpiece, The History of Change on People's Heads, a chart tracking everyone's weather signs. Duluth still thinks puberty is the answer, but Tilly isn't convinced. She explains her theory, pointing at her drawings. "Someone who had an affair at least once will never get the sun back." Duluth looks intrigued and asks, "Tilly, what sign do you have on your head?" She blurts out, "I have rain," before catching herself. "Oops, I mean, our really pretty sun," she exclaims, making a rainbow with her hands. She decides to keep her secrets for now, but one thing is for sure, she won't be letting cheaters off the hook. "So you'll keep quiet about it?" Duluth asks. "Not at all." With a mischievous grin, she declares, "I'll punish them after getting paid." Finally, the day of the ceremony arrives. Tilly gets ready in a beautiful new green dress, staring at her reflection. She's ready to take a step forward into a bigger world. A bright smile on her face, she's ready for anything. They arrive at the magnificent palace in the Etlad Empire. Whoa, so this is the Etlad Empire? As she walks with her family, she immediately starts analyzing the crowd. There are so many more people with suns here. Duluth quizzes her on her observations, and she correctly identifies a potential fling between two people with suns. "Thanks, Duluth. I learned that I should consider people's facial expressions and gestures as well." Suddenly, a trumpet sounds, and the crowd murmurs as the emperor and empress take their thrones. Tilly is in awe. They both have brilliant suns above their heads, a perfect royal couple. The emperor calls for his son Theus to come forward, and Tessie begins his walk down the grand hall. The crowd swoons. He is the undeniable light of the Etlad Empire. He kneels before his father. The emperor proclaims him crown prince of the Etlad Empire. He then gently places the crown upon Tessie's head. The hall erupts with applause. Tilly is completely speechless. He is the light of the empire indeed. She's never seen anyone so delicate and elegant. After the ceremony, a huge crowd swarms the newly appointed crown prince. Tilly sighs, thinking there's no way she'll be able to get through to say hello. But then, through the sea of people, she jumps, startled. He smiles warmly, and mouths, "Thank you for coming," giving her a subtle wave. Just as she's about to respond, her brother Kier materializes out of nowhere, completely blocking her view. "Oh, I did? My bad," he says, not looking sorry at all. He then tells her he has something important to discuss and to go get Duluth. The important matter? A business huddle, right here at the party. "What's the most important thing in our business is remembering people's faces and names." She lectures her brothers. "We need to be accurate to find out who they are having affairs with." Then comes the master plan. Once we locate the cheater, we can blackmail the person. She clears her throat. "I mean, bargain." I represent this business after all. Duluth immediately objects. Alone? That's too dangerous. Karen chimes in. We can be her bodyguards. Tilly considers it. That sounds okay. She looks around the massive ballroom. Should we first start collecting data? Since they can't exactly advertise their services, they'll have to find clients by seeking out people with troubled weather signs. And just like that, she spots their first target, a woman with dark clouds over her head, nervously looking around. The woman is secretly holding hands with a man. Kier smirks. We got her. The couple looks incredibly suspicious as they sneak away. They're heading towards a secluded part of the palace. Karen's ready for action, and Tilly gives a confident thumbs up. She's not worried with her brothers to protect her. The three young detectives take off, hot on their trail. This couple knows the deserted corridors way too well. This is not their first time for sure, Tilly thinks. They finally stop, and the trio peeks from around a corner. The lady is a blonde, and her partner is, I think he is a brunette. Duluth whispers. Suddenly, a deafening clink echoes through the hall as a priceless vase smashes to pieces on the floor. Their secret mission is blown. A voice rings out, and the kids freeze. Karen snaps, damn it, let's go. But Duluth looks devastated. But this was our chance. There's no time to argue. Kier grabs our girl's wrist, yelling Tilly, hurry. They make a mad dash for it, but they run smack into their parents. Mom asks with a tired sigh, children, where have you been? Duluth, the smooth operator, immediately concocts a story. Kier and I took Tilly out on a stroll. Haha. He apologizes for making them worry, and their dad gently scolds them for going too far. Dad's eyes land on our little nugget. Especially you, Tilly. Be careful not to get lost. She groans internally. Now all eyes are on her. So much for plan B. But our heroine is not satisfied. She glances back, thinking she could ask Tessie for a map of the palace. But he's swarmed by a crowd of nobles. She sighs, figuring he'd come find them eventually. Still, she worries if people will give her the evil eye for taking up the crown prince's precious time. And then, as if summoned by her thoughts, he appears. Tessie is standing right there, a gentle smile on his face. Tilly's heart skips a beat. Tessie, her father bows deeply. Your Highness, I truly congratulate you on being appointed as the crown prince. Tessie waves it off. No need to be so decorous. I need to talk to Tilly for a while. Will you allow me to? Her dad gives a quick nod. Tessie turns to our girl, his eyes sparkling. May I escort you? She beams, her heart doing a little flip-flop. My pleasure. They escape the stuffy ballroom and step into a breathtaking garden. Whoa, she whispers, it's so pretty. Tessie looks pleased. I'm glad you like it. He gives her a little side glance, a new air of confidence around him. Tilly realizes something feels different. The last time they met, he was just a prince, but now, he's the crown prince. Suddenly, she's a bundle of nerves. Tessie chuckles. Tilly, you don't need to be so tense. She lets out a nervous laugh and finally congratulates him. Thank you, he says softly. Our girl finally relaxes, glad to be away from the prying eyes of the court. Maybe the air was a bit heavy in there, Tessie, she says. He loosens his collar. Forcing myself to smile in front of all the adults is not exactly my specialty. Tilly is surprised. I thought you liked being there because the people were there to congratulate you. He shakes his head. Did it look like that to you? He confesses. I felt obliged rather than delighted. The smile doesn't quite reach his eyes. Tilly's heart aches for him. Oh, she realizes he's still so young to carry such a heavy burden. She silently hopes he'll be okay. Tessie quickly changes the subject. By the way, did you like the gift I sent you, Tilly? Our girl's face lights up like a Christmas tree. Of course, I love horses. She excitedly tells him she named the horse Peony. He smiles. I do, you named her Peony. Tilly freezes. What? You knew? He casually reveals. Dorothy told me. Our girl is having an internal meltdown. Dorothy, what did you do? I wanted to tell him myself. She puffs out her cheeks, pouting. I wanted to tell you the name myself, or ask you to guess it. He spoiled all the fun. Tessie looks adorably baffled by her little tantrum. She promises to make sure Dorothy doesn't spoil any more surprises, and they seal it with a pinky swear. Tessie apologizes and asks if there's anything he can get her to make up for it. A light bulb goes off in Tilly's head. Something I need. Can you get me a map of the royal palace? He smiles. Oh, then it's fine. But I can get you something more special. He reaches for her hand. A dazzling smile spreads across his face. Where do you want to go first? Our girl practically swoons. She takes his hand, and he leads her through the palace gardens. They find a quiet, isolated spot. Tilly thinks to herself, maybe she'll run into that couple again. And bam, there they are. The secret lovers, locked in a clandestine embrace. Tilly gasps. Tessie looks over, confused. Are they someone you know? She leans in and whispers dramatically. Not really, but listen up. Those two, they are having an affair. Tessie's eyes go wide with shock. They duck into the bushes to eavesdrop. The woman is crying, saying her husband is coming home but she can't bear to be without her lover. Hiding in the foliage, Tilly is fuming. An affair is an affair. It can't be forgiven. She turns to the crown prince. What do you think, Tessie? Don't you think you should discipline them for their immoral behavior? He agrees, but then asks the million-dollar question. But Tilly, how did you know? She waves him off. I'll tell you the details later on. She rises from the bushes, ready for a confrontation. Tessie just trusts her. Well, if you say so. With a nod, she pops out of the greenery. Aren't you both ashamed? Huh? She stops mid-sentence, her eyes widening. Wait a second. A lady with blonde hair and a brown-haired man, the person pulls off their hat. And Tilly's jaw hits the floor. It's not a man, it's a woman. This isn't a cheating scandal, it's a forbidden romance. The couple immediately drops to their knees, begging the crown prince for forgiveness. Tessie and Tilly exchange a look. He sighs. Well, let me first hear what you have to say. They find a private room, and he gestures for them to sit. Now can you tell me what's happened? The blonde woman, Lady Hot, begins her tragic tale. My husband and I went through an arranged marriage. It was an old promise between their families. He was a good man, with no vices like drinking or gambling. Everyone thought it was a perfect match. But after we wedded, she says, her voice trembling, his only interest was my family business. He started to stay out overnight, and suddenly he became annoyed at me just talking. I didn't expect him to be a devoted husband, she continues, but I didn't want to be neglected. She waited and waited for him to change, but nothing happened. Just as she was about to give up, she ran into her childhood friend, Philia, at a party. And in that moment, seeing her friend's kind face, something sparked. Philia gave her back the emotions she had long forgotten, the joy of being in love. Back in the present, Tessie asks, does your husband know about this? Lady Hot shakes her head. Not only is he not interested in me, but he also never talks to me, so he doesn't know. In fact, they haven't shared a bed in years. Philia finally speaks up, asking, excuse me, but who are you? By the way, Tilly puffs out her chest. My name is Tilias Rose Linden, and I am an expert in catching people who cheat. Tessie nearly chokes. She shoots him a desperate wink. Can you play up to this for once? Tess, completely bewildered, just stammers, aha. He backs her up, telling the couple she runs a business exposing adulterers. They're totally impressed. Tilly slaps her hands on the table. Of course, for sure I can solve such problems for you. But there is one more thing. I can only do it with a little compensation. Do you agree to it? The couple nods eagerly. Tilly grins, pointing a finger in the air. Then the answer is quite simple. Tell your husband the truth and divorce him. Lady Hot's face falls. I wish, but she explains that the reputation of her family's business would be ruined. Tilly cuts her off with a sharp question. But does running away from the problem solve it? The lady flinches. How did you? Tilly's gaze is piercing. It's obvious. The problem won't solve itself, she says wisely. You need to confront it. Tilly lays it all out. For years, she hasn't talked with her husband. And considering that he stays out overnight frequently, it is highly likely that he too is having an affair. A divorce is perfectly justified if one of them is cheating. The truth hits Lady Hot like a lightning bolt. She clenches her fists. That's true. She realizes she's been evading the problem, acting like a child, and her cowardice has been a burden on the one she loves. A new determination fills her eyes. Thank you for bringing this to light. She turns to Philia. Sweetheart, I won't run away from the problem anymore. I'll look for ways to live an honorable life, with Philia by my side. She stands and bows deeply. Thank you, Your Highness. And, Miss Linden. Tilly and Tessie nod, accepting her gratitude. As the couple leaves, Tilly lets out a huge stretch. Oops, I forgot about my compensation. She sighs. Well, she was my first client, so I guess she gets it free. Tessie interrupts. Tilly, I have something to ask. He looks at her with intense curiosity. I didn't mention it before as I thought it might trouble you, but can you let me know how you became an expert in catching adultery? Our girl's brain goes into overdrive. What should I tell him? Is there a good makeup to the story? She takes a deep breath and puffs out her chest. I'm quite smart. She starts babbling, making up a story about being sharp-eyed and noticing a lot of cheating spouses in Kina. I think I'll try working on this. Kier and Duluth know about it, and they said they would help. So Tessie, will you keep it a secret? He smiles warmly. Sure, I trust you, Tilly. Our girl's heart soars. And Tilly, he starts to say. But he hesitates, then shakes his head. Nothing. Let me know if there is something I can do to help. Tilly beams, wondering what he was about to say. Thanks. Now should we head back? Tilly gets a big hug but immediately declares, I want to hang out with Tessie a little longer, Mommy. Her mom is confused. Huh? But you said it'll be for just a while. Tessie smoothly intervenes. I'm fine with it, so let her. He then turns to Kier. I solved the case with the couple we met earlier, so don't worry about it. Kier just stares, completely baffled. What? But Tilly is already dragging Tessie away, promising to fill him in later. Tessie tells her he has something he wants to show her. He asks, don't you want to meet the daughters of the Atlet Empire? Girls her age. She eagerly agrees. He introduces her to the daughter of Marcus Belmond. Tilly gives a polite bow, but their pleasantries are shattered by an unwelcome voice. It's June Lore. He stomps over, clearly annoyed. He glares at them whispering and snaps. You two do know that I can hear you, right? He struts towards them. He starts puffing up his chest, bragging about his father's accomplishments to impress Tilly. But Tessie masterfully diverts her attention, asking what her favorite dessert from Etlad is. She happily replies, mango cake. June explodes. Are you IGNing me now? Luckily the other girls call him over. Lord June Lore, come here and talk with us. Tilly covers her face in secondhand embarrassment. Wow, I guess girls in Etlad like guys like June. She is absolutely flabbergasted. Suddenly she's surrounded. A group of girls corners her. Their leader gets right in her face. Excuse me, Lady Tilias. I have a question to ask you. The girls glare, their eyes burning with suspicion. Are you close or in an intimate relationship with Lord June Lore? Please be honest with us. Tilly makes a face of pure disgust. Not at all. Him a close friend? The thought alone gives me a headache. She clarifies, he is just an acquaintance. I am not interested in him at all. The girls' faces instantly light up with relief. They warn her not to deceive the Lolos. Tilly is confused. The what? Big Gush. It's a nickname for the fans of Lord Jun Lore, the lore lovers. Tilly quickly adds, sure, my taste is more in guys with pretty silver hair. The lead girl grabs her arm. Then are you Lady Tilias? A thee? Tilly is lost again. A thee must be. Our girl is amazed. Wow, they sure know how to put a name to everything. You're still here, Tilly. Tessie's smooth voice cuts through the chatter. The fangirls immediately swoon, fawning over him. He politely brushes them aside. I'm sorry, but I'm busy entertaining an honorable guest from Kina. He gently guides Tilly away. Our girl is shocked. This is completely unexpected. She thought June would be the popular one, but Tessie is the one being mobbed. He sighs. Phew, I barely made it out. He gives her a relaxed smile, a smile he doesn't show to everyone. A thought pops into her head. Am I special? Tessie notices her blushing. Your face is red. Are you okay? She stammers, trying to find an excuse, when a familiar melody begins to play. It's the same music they danced to last time. Tessie's eyes sparkle. We shouldn't stand still to this amazing music. Would you dance with? Don't you think you are keeping a fan all to yourself, Your Highness? Junlor interrupts, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Tessie's smile vanishes. June demands Tilly dance with him instead. Tessie's eyes turn to ice. Tilly is bewildered. He used to make fun of my red hair, and now this? She politely refuses him. I'm sorry, the son of Lore. I believe it is polite to answer to the person who first requested the dance. She takes Tessie's hand. Tilly holds onto Tessie's arm tightly. Defeated, Jun turns on his heel. Whatever. Wait till we get back to Kina. Tilly couldn't care less. Tessie smiles down at her. Now that he is gone, should we dance? She nods enthusiastically, ready to forget about that chaotic boy and have fun. They glide across the ballroom floor. It feels different this time, dancing with a more mature Tessie in this grand hall. Everything feels brand new. The music ends, and they bow as the room erupts in applause. Just then, Kier appears. Tilly, let's go home now. She's shocked. Home? Already? We just came here. Kier sighs. What do you mean? Even Her Majesty the Empress left wistfully after failing to see you all day. Our girl realizes with a jolt how much time has passed. She didn't even notice while spending time with Tessie. Karen tells her their parents are waiting in the carriage. She turns to say her goodbyes. I had fun today, Tessie says softly. Me too, she replies, her heart warm. He asks her to visit him in Kina. She beams and waves goodbye. He watches her go, a gentle smile on his face. Can't wait to see you again. Sometime later, back at her own estate, a maid calls out, Tilly, a letter came for you. Her heart leaps. A letter? Did Tessie send it? The maid shakes her head. No, it came from Lady Wendy Hot. Who is she? Tilly sits up, stunned. A letter from her very first client. Alright, let's get this show on the road. Hit that subscribe button, grab your snacks, and let's dive into this absolute roller coaster. Our girl Tilly is practically vibrating with joy, waving around a letter she just got. Her brothers, Kier and Duluth, recognize the sender's name, Lady Hot, the woman they helped escape her trash husband. Tilly assumes it's a thank you note, but Kier immediately goes into overprotective big brother mode, reminding her it wasn't just her help. Tilly just brushes him off, saying it was no big deal thanks to Tessie. She's practically dying to rip the letter open and see what's inside. Duluth's eyes are literally sparkling with dollar signs. I mean excitement. The letter begins, Dear Miss Tilias Rose Linden, and the tea is piping hot. Lady Hot writes that she asked for a divorce the second she got home. When she confronted her dirtbag husband, he freaked out and threatened to snitch to her father. But joke's on him, because his little plan blew up in his face. She came with receipts, a mountain of evidence of his awful treatment, and they finally settled the divorce. The moment she stepped out of that carriage, a free woman, was pure bliss. She says the air itself felt fresher than ever before, and it was all thanks to our little Tilias. She gives a shout out to the prince and Philia, but says Tilly's advice was the final push she needed to find her happiness. And to show her gratitude, she's sending a little something her way. Tilly is absolutely glowing with victory. Yippee, this is it. The seed money for her future business empire is about to roll in. But, wait a second. The brothers are confused. There's nothing with the letter. Tilly hits the deck, frantically scrambling around. Where is it? Where is my profit? My commission? She's having a full-blown meltdown, convinced she must have dropped a check somewhere. Her panic is cut short by a knock at the door. Someone is asking for Miss Tilias Linden. Her father answers, and a delivery man announces he has gifts from the Viscountess Hot. And when he says gifts, he means a literal mountain of them. Mom is completely stunned by the sheer volume of presents. But Tilly? Our girl is already doing the math, her eyes sparkling with future profits. She can sell the stuff her family doesn't want. Her mom snaps her out of her capitalist daydream, demanding to know what's going on. Tilly spins a quick lie, saying the prince helped Lady Hot and this is just a thank you gesture. She pats herself on the back for the smooth excuse. Her mom seems to buy it, but still thinks this is an overwhelming amount of gifts. She looks from the pile of boxes to her daughter, thinking that Tilly just has a way of making people adore her. And honestly, who can blame them? Look at that adorable little face. Tilly keeps the act up, claiming Lady Hot was just so impressed with her social skills. Karen caught her precisely below. Karen looks a little suspicious, but mom decides to let the kids keep their secrets. She gently pats Tilly's head, saying all she wants is for her to be happy and healthy. Tilly beams up at her. Yes, mommy. Later, while entertaining guests, they hear about an incredible overseas ballet company coming to town. Tilly's ears perk up instantly. Mommy, I want to go see the ballet together with you. Her mother hesitates, clearly uncomfortable with the idea of being stared at in public, because of her cursed red hair. But Tilly sees her chance to be a hero again. She insists on going with her mom, not her dad. The poor family friend looks absolutely wounded by the rejection. Tilly launches into an impassioned speech, determined to break her mom out of her shell. She deserves to go out and have fun. Seeing her daughter's determination, her mom finally relents with a smile. Then, should we? That night Tilly schemes. A simple wig or hat won't be enough to hide her mom. She needs a foolproof plan, and then a brilliant, chaotic idea strikes her. That's it. She sprints to the kitchen, shouting, "Mommy, I have a great idea." Her mom just looks confused. And so they arrive at the theater, surrounded by the murmuring high society crowd. The usher greets them, "Good evening, sir," and leads them to their seats. Tilly is ecstatic. The plan worked. No one noticed. Her genius idea. Mommy doesn't have to be Lady Lyndon. Tonight, she's a dapper gentleman complete with short hair and a hat. The disguise is flawless. No one gives them a second glance. And the theater's dim lighting is the perfect cover. As the ballet begins, Tilly is just so happy to see her mom there. And for the first time in what feels like forever, her mom is truly smiling, completely lost in the performance. In the winding intermission, Tilly announces she needs the restroom. Her mom tells her to be quick, since the show will start again soon. As Tilly skips down the hall, already planning their next outing, a voice calls out her name. A woman grabs her hand, saying, "You must be Miss Lyndon, the one who is close with His Highness." Tilly freezes. The woman's grip is tight as she says she has an urgent matter, but Tilly yanks her arm back with a shout. Just as the strange woman vanishes, Kier appears out of nowhere. He was worried about them coming in disguise and wants them to go home. But Tilly refuses. This is the first time she's been out with her mom without anyone staring. Karen caught her precisely below. Carriage won't back down, worried they'll be discovered. Tilly is getting frustrated. She just wants to see the second act, but their argument is interrupted by a sneering voice. It's the ever-charming June Lore, mocking Tilly's outfit. She savagely tells him to get lost. She grabs Kier and tries to end the conversation, but then throws out a challenge to June. If he's so worried, he can come with them. June smirks, saying she should be grateful a cursed low-class person is even allowed in his carriage. Kier looks ready to throw hands, but then Tilly remembers her mom's happy face from earlier. She turns to June with a wicked little grin. "Maybe I'll give it a try," she says, adding, "Just hope my curse doesn't break your carriage." The look on his face is priceless. She then tells Kier they're fine and heads back to her seat. A total boss. Watching the second act, she has an epiphany. She sees how the male dancers support the ballerinas. Maybe that's what June is trying to do for her. But the more he tries to get close, the more she's reminded of how different she is, an outsider in this world. The thought leaves a complicated look on her face. After the show, her mom asks if she had a good time. As they leave, June is waiting for them by his carriage. "Get in," he orders. Tilly is so over this guy. She immediately tries to hail another ride, screaming for a horseman. June is not having it. Her mom, ever the graceful diplomat, steps in to smooth things over. June tries to insist, saying there are no other carriages available. Tilly crosses her arms, annoyed she even has to deal with this. June just stares, refusing to take no for an answer, pressing his point. But just in the nick of time, a knight in shining armor appears. It's Tessie. He's come to take them home. June is absolutely livid. Tessie just coolly replies that they clearly don't want a ride from him. Tilly is overjoyed, thanking her savior. June is left sputtering in the dust. But there's a catch. Tessie asks for a favor in return. He wants Tilly to attend the upcoming equestrian competition. In his carriage, he confirms he's competing and really wants her to be there. He flashes her a smile that could melt glaciers and asks, "You will come, right?" How could she possibly say no? As they ride home, Tilly remarks how lucky they were that Tessie showed up. Her mom smiles, but then takes her hand with a serious expression. She admits she was worried about Tilly getting too close to the crown prince, but now she sees it as an invaluable friendship. She tells Tilly she likes Tessie too. Knowing her daughter has someone else who cares for her in a world that can be so cruel, she's decided to trust her. The heart-to-heart ends with a promise of a nice meal when they get home. Meanwhile, in the shadows, a woman confronts the cold Duke Lore. She smirks, gloating that the Lyndon family is finished, thanks to him blocking the children from the academy. But the Duke is not in the mood for her games. He grabs her hand with an icy glare, warning her not to overstep. His eyes practically burn with rage. He dismisses her with a chilling threat. Defeated, she leaves and slams the door. She is furious. For 6 years she has served him, doing all his dirty work to protect his power and keep his hands clean. And still he refuses her. She clenches her fists. If she can't have him, she'll destroy him. And her key to his destruction. Back at the peaceful Lyndon estate, Tilly is happily brushing a horse named Peony. Her brother teases her about getting the horse ready for Tessie. The thought makes Tilly blush, and she wonders if Tessie will ride a beautiful white horse just like this one in the competition. She just knows he'll look amazing. Her father finds her in the stables, proud of how responsible she's become. Tilly asks him about the competition, and the possibility of her brothers participating. Duluth gets excited at the idea, but their mother walks in and shuts it down instantly. No, never. She insists it's far too dangerous. The boys protest, but she won't budge. Seeing the pained look on her face, Tilly understands. It's not just about getting hurt, it's about protecting their hearts from the cruel nobles at the academy, the very ones who conspired to keep them out. Tilly realizes the only path forward is for her father to gain a higher title. Once he's a count, they can get into the academy, and then she'll follow. The thought fills her with a fiery determination. Any noble who stands in their way is dead meat. Later, the family receives a formal invitation to an engagement party at the palace. They arrive and are greeted by the empress herself. After they bow, a strange conversation unfolds. Tilly feels bad for missing a prior event, but the empress says she's the one who is disheartened. It turns out the empress's engagement is being opposed by the nobles, and she has summoned the Lyndon house for help. The Empress leans in and whispers directly to our girl. I actually need your help, not Henrik Linden's. Tilly is floored. Does the Empress know her secret? Later in the garden, Tilly makes her move, laying her cards on the table. Your Majesty, award my daddy a count's title, she insists. Then I will help you and Sir Furo once more. The ultimate power move. And that's where we'll leave it for today. What a chapter. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next recap. Here is your manhwa recap script. Our little nugget and the Empress are having a nice cup of tea. But the conversation gets serious. Tilly asks a simple question. So daddy can be a viscount? She tilts her head, confused. It's just one rank higher, what's the big deal? The Empress explains that a count title is a whole different ballgame. Viscount Linden is lacking something crucial. Not money, but connections. Tilly gets it in a flash. He needs to schmooze with the other nobles. But our girl immediately shuts that down. We would never bribe people, she declares. She wants to stick to daddy's principles and expose the sins of others instead, starting with a certain Count Coco. With a determined glint in her eye, she strikes a deal. Promise to make my daddy a count once I succeed. The Empress is floored. This kid is— Yes, she says, a slow smile spreading across her face. I give you my word. So who's the target? None other than Count Coco, a notorious player with a Rolodex of secret lovers. Tilly had her eye on him. But there was one weird thing. He doesn't look or act like a Casanova at all. In fact, our girl is seething because she remembers him trying to pull his moves on her mommy. Meanwhile, the Empress has her own plans, thinking his skills could be useful for Sir Furo. Just then, the man himself approaches. Tilly drops into a perfect, polite curtsy, but the Count just dismisses her. Oh, the redhead from the Lindens. He doesn't think she has anything important to say. He even has the gall to call her red hair a curse he can't endure. But Tilly points a tiny finger, her voice sharp. It's about the lady with a hat over there. Doesn't that sound intriguing? She doesn't stop, pointing out a blonde lady, and then a bobbed hair lady too. Her voice drops to a conspiratorial whisper. Aren't they all on very friendly terms with you, Count? Even more than your own wife? A chill runs down the Count's spine. He is shook. See, the Count was only successful because he had a rock-solid alibi for every affair. Tilly takes a step forward, her voice laced with sugar and poison. If I tell all the ladies your secret, I'm sure they'll feel betrayed. He tries to bolt, but she stops him. Oh, and look, they're starting a conversation. Maybe about you? The Count starts trembling, accusing her of framing him without evidence. Oh, but she has evidence. She pulls out a sparkling ring. The Count goes pale, looking absolutely frantic. He remembers that ring. He gave it to his second lover. How does this little girl have it? Did she betray him? He completely loses it, screaming that it's a curse from a bedeviled red hair. Tilly just stares back, unimpressed. I wouldn't call it a curse. You brought this on yourself. She then demands his cooperation. Cornered, the Count knows he's trapped by the Empress. He gulps, defeated. What do you want from me? Success. Tilly proudly reports back to the Empress that Count Coco is on their side. But then the Empress asks for her ring back. Plot twist. Tilly reveals she just had a fake one, made that looked similar. This kid is a certified genius. She faked him out with a replica. The Empress is delighted, already looking forward to the next phase of their plan. As they walk, she mentions she needs to see Furo. Tilly asks if the party is over, but the Empress just smirks. Of course not. The star of the show always makes the last entrance. And what an entrance it is. Sir Furo appears, looking like a dashing, elegant prince. He greets the crowd, formally announcing the deepening of his relationship with Her Majesty. The room erupts in applause, and Tilly is stunned by the transformation. The nobles can't believe it's the same quiet, silent flower. Tilly realizes Sir Furo is trying his absolute best to become a man worthy of the Empress. And with Count Coco's help, it's the perfect recipe for success. The Empress shoots our girl a triumphant wink. Or is it? A few days later, Sir Furo is having a full-blown meltdown on the floor. I really can't do this. Count Coco is trying to coach him, roaring that social skills are essential. As the future royal consort, he needs to be a diplomat. Coco then demonstrates by giving the cringiest wink known to man. Both Tilly and the Empress physically recoil. It's too much to bear. Furo pleads that he can't do this. He asks if he can't use his own methods. And with a flourish, he pulls out a lyre. He begins to play, and the music is absolutely beautiful. He looks utterly dazzling, and even Count Coco is moved to tears by the performance. Meanwhile, at a formal meeting of nobles, Duke Lore is feeling smug. He's sure no one will agree to grant Furo a higher rank. He oozes arrogance as he surveys the room. Sir Furo sits calmly across from him. The Duke makes a show of gliding into the room, trying to assert his dominance. But Furo cuts him off, cool as a cucumber. Let's skip the greetings and discuss my matrimony, Duke Lore. The Duke's jaw drops. No one is taking his side. He clenches his fist in fury. Someone has sabotaged him. If Furo becomes the royal consort, the power of the Lore family will collapse. He scans the room, wondering who dared to cross him. The camera pans to a very nervous-looking Count Coco, who lets out a little cough. The Count is sweating bullets. He can't believe he's openly defying the Duke. But the alternative, having that little red-haired girl expose his secrets, is far worse. Yeah, siding with the Duke would be social suicide. He decides backing the Empress is the smarter move. He clenches his own fist, resolute. The Duke is seething. That low-rank kid. Just then, a voice greets him. He grinds his teeth. For her was actually below, forcing himself to stay calm. It's Tilly's father, who is now Count Furo. The Duke offers a fake congratulations. Furo then turns with a smile. Is your adorable daughter here with you as well? The Duke's eyes narrow, thinking of that little pest. And right on cue, Tilly pops up. Yes, I'm here. She explains she was just enjoying some cake. The Duke sneers, but before he can insult her, Tilly's dad steps in. Tilly is ready to throw down, but her dad beats her to it. Oh, I didn't see you there, Your Grace, he says sweetly. You are wearing black today, so I thought you were Count Furrow's shadow. My apologies. Oh, the savagery, he smiles politely. The Duke bites his lip, absolutely fuming. Tilly is in awe. Did Daddy just verbally body slam the Duke? The Duke turns to leave, spitting that he's not worth his time. But Dad isn't done. He calls out, stopping him in his tracks. The Duke halts. Are you starting a fight, Henrik? The Duke spins around, his eyes blazing with fury. Like the old days, he snarls. Tilly is utterly lost. The old days? The two men lock eyes, a storm of history brewing between them. Flashback to their academy days. A young Duke, then known as Nathan, looks somber. A young Henrik, Tilly's dad, is much more cheerful, but Nathan tells him to be quiet. Henrik is just happy to see him after summer break, but Nathan is embarrassed by the attention. Nathan shuffles his feet uncomfortably. Henrik doesn't understand the problem, smiling his bright, carefree smile, but Nathan sighs. It still matters to others even if you don't care, he says, referring to their difference in rank. He tells Henrik to leave him alone, pointing out he's from a mere baron's family, and walks away. Despite Nathan's coldness, Henrik was persistent, brought a mountain of gifts for him. Nathan just scoffs. They all look pathetic. So Henrik offers him a little stuffed bird, insisting they're best friends. He practically forces the toy on a reluctant Nathan. Be honest, you like it, Henrik teases. Later, sitting together, Nathan quietly mutters, thanks. He holds the little bird, but their friendship was a target. A bully smacks Nathan to the ground, Wano shoving him down. How did you get into this academy? He sneers. He points to his dirty shoe, and with a cruel grin, demands, lick it. Nathan just glares, his eyes full of defiance. The bully gets enraged. How dare you look at me like that? He raises his hand to strike, but suddenly a voice rings out. It's Henrik. What are you guys doing to him? The bully tells him to get lost before he gets hurt too, but Henrik stands his ground, demanding they apologize to Nathan. The bully just laughs. A viscount's son can't challenge a marquis's son. Nathan's heart sinks. He thinks Henrik just got them both expelled. He slumps to the ground in despair. A director appears, breaking up the commotion, and orders them all to follow him. But the problem was far from solved. Later, Henrik asks what happened. Nathan silently hands him a letter. It's an order for them to write a letter of apology. The bullies? They just got a slap on the wrist suspension. It was a cruel lesson in social hierarchy. Henrik is devastated, but Nathan just says, this is wrong. Let's go make ourselves feel better. He takes a dazed Nathan to a cafe filled with sweets. He pushes a plate of cookies towards him. Nathan finally cracks. I don't understand it, he says. Why do you keep helping me? We have no chance of winning. He points out that Henrik got punished too, just for helping him. Henrik just smiles gently. Do you need a reason to help someone? He says simply, you are my closest friend, and violence cannot be accepted at all costs. That's how I was educated. He's just so… Nathan is stunned. How can Henrik be so naive about social rank? As Henrik happily talks about their next outing, Nathan thinks his friend is gleaming like the sun. The sweets are too sweet, but he doesn't hate it. And so they became best friends. Though it didn't last long. One day, Henrik confesses he's in love with a girl named Julia Curtis. Nathan is sitting on the steps, looking bored. Are you an idiot? He asks flatly. Julia Curtis is a redhead. Henrik knows redheads are treated horribly, but he doesn't care. Don't talk like that. She did nothing wrong, he insists. Nathan is shocked. Are you defending a redhead? Then, something in him snaps. So that was why you looked after me too. Is it your habit to pity miserable people? Henrik is speechless. He can't believe Nathan would say that just because he likes a girl with red hair. Yeah, Nathan screams, his face twisting with resentment. Why don't you go help her out too, just like you pitied me? He storms off, leaving a heartbroken Henrik behind. From that day on, Nathan changed. He started hanging out with the very bullies who tormented him, acting as their lackey. Henrik watches, confused and hurt. When he tries to talk to Nathan, he's met with an icy wall. We are not friends anymore. Are you trying to act nice just to make yourself feel good? The words are like daggers. Henrik finally gives up. As he walks away, the bully mockingly asks Nathan why he doesn't lick his shoe again. Back in the present, Tilly's dad sighs. It's all in the past, he says, looking down to find Tilly has fallen asleep in his arms. He looks at her red hair so much like her mother's, and gently pats her head. He thinks to himself that marrying Julia and adopting Tilly was never about pity. He holds his daughter close. This is not pity, Nathan. It is love. This is my family that I need to protect. Later, he's leaving for another meeting. He smiles at Tilly and his wife, telling them to have a great day. As he walks away, his wife watches him go, a thoughtful look on her face. This urgent weekend work, it must be something else. Alright, let's dive into the drama. The meeting begins, and Duke Lore immediately puts Viscount Linden on the spot about the mine's profits. Our boy Henrik is cool as a cucumber, explaining the simple logic of diminishing resources. He pivots, revealing that the mine is now a booming tourist attraction, bringing in a ton of cash. He grins, a perfect, calculated smile, asking if the Duke finds any flaws in his math. The Duke is seething, nibbling his finger in irritation. Meanwhile, other nobles gossip, laughing about how Henrik, married to a red-haired woman, is stuck as a viscount. The Duke silences them with a single word. He claims he just wanted a conversation, not a condemnation. But his expression turns icy as he accuses Henrik of patronizing him. His eyes flash with a savage glare, calling Henrik a hypocrite for pretending titles don't matter. Henrik remains unfazed. He tells the Duke he's never understood him and denies doing anything deceitful for a title. He calls out the Duke's pitying gaze, a look he's had to endure since they were children. Suddenly, Henrik beckons to his servant, Dings. The poor boy is startled, wondering if Henrik is really the son of a marquis. The servant looks down, completely intimidated. Henrik then manufactures a problem, claiming his shoelace is undone and scolding Dings for slacking off. As the servant kneels, Henrik asks if he remembers the Duke, but Dings, terrified, claims he doesn't. The Duke watches this power play, noting how obedient the servant is. Karen caught her precisely below. Imayak explains the boy's history, then turns the tables, asking the Duke what he thinks. With a dark, flowery aura, the Duke gives him a chilling smile. He asks Henrik if he now understands what it means to be powerful. Henrik's fist clenches in anger. The Duke goes on a villainous monologue about how power means no one will dare to harass him or play around with him. He scoffs that at least he's not a hypocrite like Henrik. Henrik snaps back, "Your own right?" The servant just stands there, caught in the crossfire. Henrik's fist is white-knuckled. He tells the Duke they clearly don't agree on what righteousness is. He declares he'll do what he thinks is right. The Duke stands behind him, a menacing shadow, warning Henrik not to trample on others with the power he's so desperately trying to earn. Later, Henrik arrives home to his wife. She asks how the meeting went, and he reassures her that he spoke with Duke Lore, and there's nothing to worry about. But our little Tilly overhears this and is instantly suspicious. She knows her dad, and she can tell he seems more energized after the confrontation. She asks her dad if he'll do anything she wants, and with a brilliant smile, she declares she wants to go see Her Majesty, the Empress. The Empress welcomes our little nugget with a warm smile. She affectionately pats Tilly's head, while Henrik explains that Tilly insisted on coming. The Empress dismisses Henrik so she can talk to Tilly, alone. With him gone, her friendly demeanor shifts to one of serious business. Tilly immediately gets to the point. She's worried about Duke Lore. She explains that after their conversation, her daddy's attitude changed, and she's afraid the Duke will stand in the way of him getting his new title. The Empress notes how mature and meticulous Tilly is acting. She looks at our adorable heroine and smiles, thinking that Tilly's red hair isn't a curse, but a true blessing. Back home, Tilly shows her mom a precious gift from the Empress, a rare flower tea. Her mom is touched, and Henrik, feeling the mood, says maybe he can give her a nice birthday gift too. She tells him not to worry about it, but he promises he'll make it to the council meeting this time. Tilly sees the fighting spirit in his eyes and feels hopeful. The day of the council meeting arrives and the whole family is going. Her brother is worried, tired of everyone blaming their family for everything. But Tilly takes his hand, telling him to give their daddy all of their trust. At the meeting, the Empress begins, but a noble immediately objects, claiming Viscount Linden neglected his duties and doesn't deserve a new title. Another noble counters, sliding a report forward that proves Henrik successfully turned the barren mountains into a popular tourist attraction. The other lords have to agree, praising the incredible playground he built for the miners' children, with gems that shine like stars at night. As they laugh and chat, Duke Lore sees this, calling them imbecile. He then tries a new angle, accusing the miners of pocketing gems. He brings up the law that restricts which gems commoners can wear. He drops a necklace, sneering that if commoners can wear gems, they'll all start wanting to become nobles. But Henrik is one step ahead. He picks it up, revealing it's just a polished fake. He smirks, saying he didn't think a noble would be fooled, and adds that all gems supplied to the royal family are of course authentic. The Duke is furious, but the Empress just laughs it off. She points out that Henrik already detailed this in his report, and if the authority of nobles could be threatened by a simple rock, the empire would have already collapsed. She then drops the bombshell. She wishes to amend the law on gem usage. She proposes that the finest gems go to the royal family, but the rest can be owned equally by all nobles. The other nobles are stunned. This means they'll finally get their hands on the gems that only the Lore family could hold. The Duke trembles with rage, and just like that, Henrik became a count. The kids are ecstatic, though they have to wait for the official ceremony. Our girl Tilly, however, is already planning her next move. A count is great, but her next mission is to make her daddy a duke. The awarding ceremony is a grand affair, with Henrik kneeling before the Empress. Everyone claps for the new Count Linden. After the ceremony, Henrik presents his wife with a beautiful bouquet, telling her it's a special day for her too. He tells her he's always grateful, and they share a beautiful, romantic moment. Tilly watches them, smiling at how perfect everything is. The weather itself seems to be celebrating with them. Of course, with a new title comes a mountain of gifts from nobles they've never even met. Tilly is so over their transparent intentions. Her brother, however, is having a blast, asking if he looks like a prince. Tilly dryly retorts he looks more like a clown. Later, Tilly is brushing her horse, Peony, who seems to like one of the gift brushes. Tilly's thoughts drift to the upcoming equestrian competition. She realizes she'll get to see Tessie, and her heart starts beating like a drum. She reaches for Peony, asking the horse for advice. She thinks her heart flutters for Tessie, but it can't be love, right? It must just be because he's good looking. Suddenly, a voice calls her name and she's startled to see Tessie himself standing right there. He came to surprise her and congratulate her father. Tilly is a flustered, laughing mess. She glances at him, wondering why he seems even taller and more elegant than before. Her mom comes to offer him tea, and Tessie calls Tilly's reaction abrupt, making her jump. Her heart is pounding out of her chest. She realizes it's not sickness. It's a message that she likes Tessie. She bolts up, making an excuse to check something in her room. Alone for a moment, she checks her reflection, expecting to see a rainbow above her head, the sign of love. But when she looks, she sees nothing but her own reflection. She returns to the living room, apologizing for her sudden departure. To her shock, the love forecast is still the same old rainbow she's always had. Confused, she sits back down and enjoys some dessert with Tessie. Finally, it's the day of the equestrian competition. Tilly is searching for Tessie, but her brother hasn't seen him yet. They have great seats thanks to Tessie. But then Tilly spots a horrifying sight. Junlor is in the competition. Her other brother, Kier, is furious that the jerk is even here. Tilly tries to calm him down, confident Tessie will win. She spots Tessie, and her heart does that familiar flutter. Even though the weather sign hasn't changed, her feelings are undeniable. Could this be? She quickly backpedals, begging him to keep it a secret. Kieran grins, agreeing that liking someone is precious. But then his expression turns fiery and intense. He makes Tilly promise to tell him if she starts to like Tessie more. A ferocious look on his face as he vows to get rid of his competition. The semi-finals begin. The riders are neck and neck, and Tilly is praying for Tessie to win. But Junlor is right there with him. She cheers as loud as she can, knowing June might try to pull a fast one at the finish line. Just as they approach the end, a leaf slaps her right in the face. By the time she recovers, the race is over. She missed the highlight. She looks up to see who won. June. Here we go. Buckle up, buttercups, because the drama is about to get spicy. The announcement echoes through the stadium. Junlor and Prince Tilias have tied for first place, and both will advance to the final round. The crowd is a mix of emotions. Even the perpetually unimpressed Duluth gives a slow, deliberate clap. A spectator can't believe it. They both came in first again, he murmurs. But the fans? Oh, the fans are ready to throw hands. A screaming match breaks out, each side insisting their boy came in first. Our little friend flinches at the noise, realizing June is a much bigger threat than anyone anticipated. With skills this perfectly matched, it's anyone's game now, but not everyone is thrilled. June's mother, the Duchess, glares from the stands with an icy chill. Tied? Again? How disappointing. She dismisses him with a wave of her hand. I have nothing more to say. Go talk to your father. His father places a heavy hand on his shoulder, offering zero comfort. June, there is nothing more we ask of you. We just need you to do the rest, he adds ominously. June is completely lost. The rest? What do you mean? But his father just turns away, saying, that's none of your business. And we get a peek into the snake's mind. He's furious that he bribed the referee for a measly tie. Our poor boy June just sulks, knowing deep down he was the better rider. His father then gives a sinister order to a man lurking in the shadows. There should be no mistakes. The servant just grins. Yes, my lord. The final race begins. As the riders line up, June shoots a death glare at his rival. You really think you'll win this? He sneers. The prince gulps, a flicker of fear in his eyes, but then he steels himself, a new resolve washing over him. I believe in myself. He places a hand on his chest, a picture of calm confidence. June is stunned by this sudden bravado. He physically staggers, that old familiar feeling of being second best creeping back in. The prince has always been the one to draw everyone's attention, while June has always felt like he was living in his shadow. A dark determination twists his face. I need to be properly commended by my family, he thinks, a grim smile playing on his lips. The little crow, Iswais, however, just looks forward, a quiet confidence radiating from him. The crowd is going absolutely bananas, roaring June's name. A sea of screaming fans. Duluth's eyes scan the audience, and he spots them. It's our little nuggets, absolutely starstruck that a girl their age made it to the finals. And they're off. June shoots out of the gate like a cannonball, pulling way ahead. His fans are screaming for him to slow down, and our girl, Tilly, watches with a pit in her stomach. Something feels wrong. June is so far ahead, he's guaranteed to win. But wait, in a shocking turn, His Highness starts closing the gap. He pulls ahead, and the crowd switches allegiance in a heartbeat, roaring for the prince. Theseus glances back, a fire in his eyes. Do you think I'll just let you win like this? June's knuckles turn white as he grips the reins. Suddenly, his horse lets out a panicked neigh, and Theus screams his name, Tessie. June's horse wobbles violently, crashing right into the prince's. In a stunning display of horsemanship, Theseus reaches out and grabs the other horse's reins, stabilizing it. The crowd is in an uproar. Did he do that on purpose? Tilly stares, her eyes wide with shock. Foul play, a man screams. But the chaos is just getting started. A shadowy hand shoves someone in the crowd. Tilly's brothers watch in abject horror. They scream as she's pushed over the railing. Our poor girl plummets towards the track, letting out a terrified shriek. The horses on the track rear up, halting instantly. A splash of water magic erupts as Theseus looks up in a panic. Tilly opens her eyes. She's safe, cradled in Theseus's arms, but there's a trickle of blood on his face. Thank God you're safe, Tilly, he breathes. Tessie, your blood, she gasps. He just shushes her gently, telling her not to move. He holds her securely on his horse, murmuring that he's just glad she isn't hurt. He gives her a weak smile, but she's frantic. But Tessie, he cuts her off. It's just a scratch. He looks at her with so much warmth and concern. Excuse me, Tilly, he says as someone in the background screams for a medic. The prince dismounts, carrying our little nugget to safety. Later, Tilly explains what happened. There was someone that pushed me. The officials are mortified, bowing and promising a full investigation. I really appreciate it, she says, her voice small, but a chilling realization dawns on her. The timing was too perfect. I was pushed at the exact moment when Tessie was about to cross the finish line. She remembers the black-gloved hands that shoved her, and her mind screams one name, the Duke of Lore. Tessie couldn't win because he had to save her. Her brother is shaking with rage. If Lore is behind this is way over the line. Tilly can only nod, the weight of it all crashing down on her. Her brother tries to comfort her, but she waves him off. Her mother's voice is thick with tears. I'm sorry, Tilly. She pulls her daughter into a fierce hug. We should have done better to protect you. In that moment, Tilly feels so incredibly loved by her found family. They all surround her, a protective wall of worried faces. Are you sure you're not hurt? After her family leaves, Tilly waves them off with a smile, but the second she's alone, it vanishes. This was never supposed to happen. And the image of Theseus, bleeding because of her, is a knife in her heart. She can't get it out of her head. Outside her door, her brothers are talking. June Lore won the competition, and the prince, disqualified for not finishing the race. Tilly's blood runs cold. It has to be the Duke. It's the only explanation. Her family decides it's best to go home, but they're interrupted by an unexpected visitor. Duluth absolutely explodes. You bastard, how dare you? But Tilly stops him, asking for a moment alone. When her brothers are gone, she fixes June with an icy stare. What are you here for? I'm not in the mood to talk, she snaps, but he presses on. I have something to say. He looks away, clearly ashamed. I'm sorry I wasn't there to catch you. He mumbles that he was in the lead, then just repeats, anyways, I'm sorry. Tilly is floored. An apology? From him? But she hardens her heart. He's not the one who needs to hear this. If you know how to apologize, you should do it to Theseus, not me. I know you pushed him on purpose. He admits it's true, but says his father won't let him give up the trophy. Tilly's eyes widen. Wait, so you know who pushed me? June panics, stammering her name, clenching his fist to stop himself from spilling everything. He admits what he did was wrong and says he'll apologize to the prince. But Tilly is done. Leave. He hesitates for a moment, the rejection stinging, then turns to go. I'll be going then. Later, at the awards ceremony, June is crowned the champion, holding a trophy he didn't earn. But Duluth isn't letting him off that easy. He corners him. I'm very disappointed in you. You may have won with your disgraceful performance, but remember, you will never win a lady's heart. Tilly is in awe. Wow, what a brilliant young lady. Wait, what? It's her brother Kier, whose love sign is shining like the actual sun. My man is head over heels. She turns her frosty gaze on her son. I believe you promised to show us the results of your hard work. All June can do is look at the ground and mutter. A few days later, Kier is having a full-blown fashion emergency, trying to pick the perfect outfit. He gets all shy, admitting he needs to be ready in case he runs into her. This boy has it bad. Suddenly, a maid announces a visitor for Tilly. She runs to the garden, and her heart does a backflip. Tessie. She grabs his hands, babbling, "What are you doing here?" Then she realizes what she's done and gasps, snatching her hands back. Oops, sorry. He smiles, telling her he came to check on her. She beams. I'm fine. I was worried about you. She reaches toward the bandage on his head. Don't be, he says softly. It's just a scratch. He moves his silver hair to show her, but Tilly can see the scar, and her heart aches. She gently pats his head, thinking he must have been in so much pain. She looks at him with pure, unadulterated worry. He smiles at her touch. Tilly, I guess you really like my hair. She flails, pulling her hand back. I am sorry, but he just says, you are always welcome to do that. Her heart just about explodes. His attendant appears, telling him it's time to leave, but Tilly's heart is still doing the cha-cha. I need to go, he says, but she grabs his hand. Well, wait, Tessie. She looks him dead in the eye. No matter what anyone says, you are the true champion. He's so moved he's speechless. Thank you for telling me that. In the carriage, his attendant fusses over him, but the Theseus is a million miles away, staring out the window and thinking, next time I'll stay longer. Meanwhile, June has gone to see the prince. He bows low. I apologize. The Theseus is resting in bed, looking pale. He lets out a dry little laugh. And what exactly are you apologizing for? That I tried to win by playing dirty, June admits. Theseus' eyes narrow. He knows those aren't June's own words. He also knows June went to see Tilly first. I accept your apology, but I refuse to stay as friends. He sits up, his gaze like ice. Wouldn't that be better for you too? June can only bow in agreement. But then the prince's demeanor shifts. Actually, I should be thanking you. His eyes gleam. For running like a sloth so that I could be the one to catch Lady Linden. His voice drops to a deadly whisper. And if you really want to apologize, stay away from her. He mocks June's immature romance. And that's the final straw. June snaps, grabbing the prince by the collar and shoving him back down. Stop messing around. Theseus looks up, a chilling emptiness in his eyes. When leans in, hissing a final threat about what the Etled Empire could do to his family. Back in the present, Theseus is smiling fondly, remembering his time with Tilly. At the Linden house, Kier is still having a wardrobe meltdown. He's convinced today is the day he'll see Lady Lapiz at the party they've been invited to. The family arrives and is greeted by the host. They look like a picture-perfect noble family. Well, her dad is only here to secure a business deal, and her parents quickly leave them to their own devices. Tilly immediately spots Kier's crush. Care, look. She gives him a quick pep talk, reminding him of the script they practiced. Her other brother rolls his eyes, but Tilly has faith. Just then a sickly sweet voice cuts in. Well, who do I see here? Tilly turns, a sense of dread washing over her. It's Lady Lebeek, and a thundercloud instantly forms over her mother's head. The woman lays the fake compliments on thick, congratulating her mom on her new title and the expensive gifts her husband bought her. Tilly glances at her mom and sees it. The love sign has turned a furious bright red. Oh, it's not just red, it's blazing. That is the color of pure unfiltered rage. Mama Linden is about to throw down. Our little nugget is putting the pieces together. June's sun was like a beating heart, but now Mommy's is blazing with rage. She wonders if these symbols are actually expressing their emotions. Meanwhile, at a high society party, her mother Julia addresses the crowd, claiming she's a very happy person. She clarifies it's not because of any gifts, but because her husband Henrik is by her side. Then she turns to another noble, Countess Lebeek, with a pointed comment. I'm certain you are happy with your husband as well. The Countess, fanning herself with a smug look, replies with a simple, of course. But oh, the venom is just getting started. She throws some serious shade, saying she never sees Julia's husband at these parties. Tilly spots her dad nearby just as the Countess turns her icy gaze on our girl. She fakes concern over Tilly's fall at the racing arena. Tilly, ever the polite child, thanks her, explaining the prince saved her. The Countess just grins, a truly wicked sight to behold. She then launches a verbal attack, sneering that Tilly must be suffering because of her sinful red hair, a curse from her parents. That's it. Mama Bear mode activated, Julia roars, Lady Lebeek, but the Countess just plays innocent, claiming she was only trying to give advice. She looms over a stunned and trembling Tilly, taking a menacing step forward. She warns that more hardships are coming for the cursed child. The crowd starts whispering, wondering if the rumors are true. Julia whirls around, absolutely furious. But before she can say a word, our little girl steps up to the plate. Tilly demands proof of this so-called curse, pointing out that if she were truly cursed, she'd be dead already. The Countess tries to backpedal, saying she was just concerned before asking Tilly if she believes she's cursed. But our girl goes straight for the kill. Or, she asks with a savage glint in her eyes, do you happen to know who pushed me? The Countess absolutely loses it, shrieking at Julia for how she raised her daughter. Julia grabs her arm, standing protectively in front of Tilly, warning the woman to back off. Just then, a calm voice cuts through the tension. It's Dad. Henrik has arrived. He catches his wife as she sways, his hand squeezing hers reassuringly. He tells the Countess to get lost, but she tries to blame Julia for the entire confrontation. From the sidelines, the boys are seething, calling her an abominable woman. Tilly looks up at her mom and her heart sinks. The sun above her mother's head is growing cold, and a tiny crack appears in its surface. As business associates pull her father away, he tells Duluth to take Tilly, to get something to eat. And the brother dutifully takes his sister's hand. As they leave, Tilly looks back, a knot of worry in her stomach. Is her mommy going to be okay? Later that night, the family is processing the chaos. But there was one silver lining. Kier is blushing, telling his siblings that the lovely Lady Lepiz invited him to meet again. She invited him to a party at her residence next week. Luluth can't help but tease him, pointing out how just a few days ago he was a nervous wreck, and now he's got a party invite. Tilly's attention is elsewhere though. She's focused on the sun above Kier's head. It's so warm and bright, just like Jun's was when he looked at her. She wonders if a bright sun means you like someone. This gets her thinking about Lady Lepiz and the boy she admires, June Lore. But Kier reveals a crucial detail. June Lore wasn't invited to the party. Duluth immediately gets defensive, saying he'd rather help Tilly pick her outfit than see that jerk. But Tilly has made up her mind. She's going. She knows she can't avoid June forever. The kids realize the political implications. If the Duke isn't invited, the Lepiz family could be blacklisted. Duluth knows it's a serious situation. Suddenly, they hear their mother's voice and rush to the hallway. They see her talking with their father, her voice trembling. She's saying the Countess was right, that all the bad things happening are because the children are hers. Henrik looks utterly bewildered. Julia starts to spiral, blaming herself for everything. His stalled career, the kids not being in the academy, and even Tilly's fall. It's all because of me, she cries. And the sun above her head cracks again. A heartbreaking sound. She completely breaks down, sobbing uncontrollably. The memory is a painful one. A flashback shows a young Julia sweeping outside her childhood home. Her father appears, yelling at her for being too slow. She tries to explain she's been working all morning, but he just calls her sluggish and blames his bad day on her redhead curse. The words were excruciating, leaving a deep scar on her heart. She just squeezed her broom, believing she could overcome it if she just endured. Back in the present, Julia covers her face in despair, weeping over the fact that Tilly almost died. Watching from the stairs, Tilly's heart shatters for her mother. She can't stand it for another second and rushes to her side. No, Mommy, that's not your fault, she cries, as Kier also reaches out a comforting hand. Kier gently shushes his sister, telling her to let their father handle this. And handle it, he does. Henrik looks at his wife with pure determination. He tells her firmly that Tilly is safe. There are bad people in life, Julia, he says softly, but we never lost. He takes her hands in his, reminding her of all the good she brought into his life, a new title, and their 3 wonderful children. He tells her if this is a curse, then he wants more of it. He tenderly touches her face, his voice thick with emotion. You are not a curse. You brought me all the happiness in life, Julia. They share a loving, tender moment. Tilly, seeing her opening, jumps in to help. She proudly declares that her red hair is what makes her resemble her wonderful mommy. and that Her Majesty herself called her the blessed child of the Linden family. She gulps, hoping she's made her point, but she feels a pang of uncertainty. She's never had to comfort her mom before. Julia trembles, completely overwhelmed. Will this be enough? Tilly wonders. Her mother apologizes for her emotional outburst and excuses herself, needing to be alone before disappearing behind her bedroom door. Tilly watches her go, her heart aching. For a moment, she was terrified that the door would stay closed forever. But the next day, it opens. Mommy seems to be doing better, even complimenting the maid on a job well done. Yet when Tilly looks up, she sees the horrifying truth. The sun above her mother's head is still completely frozen. Even as she forces a laugh, things didn't get better. Her mom became a recluse, staying in her room and letting others handle her duties. The kids tried everything to cheer her up, but the frozen sun refused to melt. Tilly sits at her desk, defeated. Nothing is working. She knows her mom is sad, but she just can't figure out how to fix it. Just then, Kier walks in. He gently takes her notebook, reminding her that she promised not to shoulder this burden alone. He suggests they ask for help, and a light bulb goes off in Tilly's head. More help, that's it. The three children march into their father's study. Help Julia together, he asks, looking up from his work. Tilly bravely speaks for them all, telling their dad they know he's suffering too. He flinches, surprised. She explains that it's only natural, because he loves their mom so much. We love mommy, they declare, and we want her to be happy. Then with a mischievous grin, Tilly adds, but I don't think we are the only one. She unveils her brilliant plan, asking her father to trust her. A proud smile spreads across his face. Tilly, he says, his voice full of love, I always have faith in you. And so a letter is sent via carrier pigeon. A few days later, their special guest arrives. A beautiful carriage pulls up to the Linden residence. A knock sounds at the door. Julia wonders who could be visiting so early, completely unaware that her children are giving each other a knowing thumbs up in the background. Julia opens the door and freezes in shock. It's her best friend, Duchess Christina. Christina beams, waving hello. Julia looks to her husband, who just smiles. If you don't want to leave the house, he says, then your friend can come visit you. Julia is deeply touched. Christina smirks, ready to cheer up her friend, and Tilly is absolutely beaming with joy. The plan is working. Christina greets all the children, showering them with compliments, and of course a mountain of presents. Soon, the two friends are settled in the parlor with tea and cake. Christina gently chides Julia for hiding away, revealing she came because of a very surprising letter from Tilias. Julia looks down, a mix of embarrassment and pride on her face. Christina smiles, recalling the letter. It was so heartwarming and mature for a child. The letter explained the whole situation, and asked for her help in a surprise party, calling her mommy's best friend to seal the deal. Christina laughs, admitting the little girl knew exactly how to bait her. I'm envious you have such great children, she tells Julia. Julia tries to brush it off, but Christina insists. But you are loved by those children. She reminds Julia of her own strength, her kindness, and her bravery, recalling how she was one of the only people to befriend her when they were young. Julia's eyes soften. Thanks, my friend. Good, Christina says, standing up. Now, should we head over there? She leads a confused Julia, covering her eyes for the big reveal. With a snap of her fingers, she uncovers Julia's eyes. Happy Mother's Day. The whole family is there, smiling, with a giant cake. Kier explains they designated today just for her, and Duluth cheekily adds they can celebrate again tomorrow if she wants. Julia is overwhelmed, tears streaming down her face as she thinks of how much they've grown. Christina squeezes her hand tightly. Don't say that, she says, reminding Julia how her friendship saved her from a terrible marriage. Henrik chimes in, and Julia, you are the best wife to me. They present her with the cake, their faces full of love. Tilly watches her mother's face closely, and then it happens. A brilliant warm light erupts from above Julia's head. The sun is back, it's shining brighter than ever before. As they enjoy their cake, Julia makes a silent promise to herself. She will become stronger, and never again let the words of cruel people affect her. Tilly pipes up, Mommy, you are already strong enough. Duluth chimes in, declaring she wins against Lady Lebeek in every category. The room fills with laughter, and all of their sons begin to glow in unison, a beautiful silent conversation of love and support. Tilly looks at the golden aurora surrounding her family, her heart full. This, she realizes with a happy smile, is what love feels like. After the whole ordeal with the Duchess's ex, things are finally looking up. Our girl's mom, Julia, is positively beaming. She's fully recovered, and Tilly knows it's all thanks to Duchess Christina's visits. A genuine, relieved smile spreads across our little nugget's face. And speak of the devil, the Duchess is back. Tilly is floored to see her again so soon. She's grateful their friendship is getting stronger. And hey, who can complain about all the delicious desserts the Duchess brings along? But this isn't just a social call. Christina has a serious look on her face. She came to ask Tilly for a favor. She reminds everyone how little Tilly, a literal child, helped her divorce that trash bag Dalton. Then she drops the bomb. I think the husband of my friend is having an affair. Tilly's eyes practically turn into dollar signs. Her business is finally taking off. She grabs her fork, ready for action. I'm ready to help. But Mom immediately panics, thinking this is way too much for a child. Christina, however, knows Tilly is built different. She leans in and whispers that she thinks Tilly has a special power. Our girl nearly chokes. Is her secret out? But nope. Christina just thinks she has super sharp observation skills. Phew. Crisis averted. Tilly just stares blankly. She's a little disappointed her cool magic theory was shot down, but mostly relieved. After some convincing, Mom agrees, but only if Tilly promises not to go anywhere alone. Christina gives our happy little detective a pat on the head, even though Mom is still worried. She sends out a letter, and a week later, the clients arrive. Dad opens the door to a well-dressed couple. The Viscount and his wife, sent by Duchess Christina, give their greetings. Mom looks tense, knowing this must be them. Over tea, the Viscount makes small talk, before her asking for help obtaining a rare Kina's bouquet for his wife, who he pointedly glances at. Suddenly, the Viscountess feels unwell and excuses herself for some fresh air, refusing any help. Mom sips her tea, her eyes sharp with suspicion. The Viscountess stands alone in the garden, but she's not alone for long. Tilly slides up behind her, voice dripping with accusation. You are not actually sick, are you? Our savage little girl drops the truth bomb. You're seeing someone else as well, my lady. She stands her ground, completely unfazed. The Viscountess is absolutely staggered, a little rain cloud of despair popping over her head. The truth is out. They're both having an affair. Tilly presses on, calling her out for taking advantage of the Duchess's kindness. She accuses her of being a clout-chasing user, and the Viscountess's face twists in rage. Little lady, she snarls, her friendly mask gone. She gets right in Tilly's face, demanding to know who told her. Then she grabs Tilly's arm in an iron grip. You have to come with me. She starts dragging our girl away. It hurts. Let me go. Tilly cries out, realizing this has escalated to kidnapping. This is a crime, she yells, but the woman doesn't stop. She's not even heading for the carriage. Tilly spots a nearby forest, a flicker of hope for escape, but the woman's grip is too strong. She shoves Tilly, sending her tumbling to the ground. Tilly lands hard. Ouch! The Viscountess looms over her, launching into a sob story about her poor family and loveless marriage. She reveals with a twisted smile that the Duchess's sympathy gifts are the only good things in her life. Then her eyes turn dark. A small injury from a fall would do. She raises her hand to strike. Tilly squeezes her eyes shut, but a strange smile crosses the Viscountess's face. Suddenly, a rock falls from the sky, and plop, hits the woman square on the head. She collapses, clutching her head in pain. The next thing Tilly knows, the woman is bawling, hugging her, and apologizing profusely. Tilly, though completely bewildered, seizes the opportunity. Then you should tell everyone the truth. And she does. Back inside, the Viscountess is on her knees, confessing everything, including threatening a child. Tilly watches, unimpressed, while Duchess Christina's face turns to ice. Sarah, she says, her voice dangerously quiet, and then crack. A vicious slap echoes through the room. You exploited my goodwill and even threatened Tilly? Christina apologizes to Julia for the chaos, as the disgraced couple prepares to leave. After they're gone, Christina turns to Tilly, a warm smile returning to her face. She thanks her again, and offers her a little something as compensation. Our girl's eyes light up. A compensation? A week later, Christina presents her with a newspaper. It's a full front-page article advertising Tilly's new business. She is beyond thrilled, but that's not all. Christina has one more gift. She gets permission to take Tilly and her brothers for a walk. It's a top-secret mission, apparently. They ride in a fancy carriage to the bustling Papel Street. Christina gestures for Tilly to step out. The gift? Tilly is speechless. Christina explains she rented it so Tilly could have a proper office. It's even fully furnished. The boys are amazed, and Tilly is already planning her business strategy. Just then, a sharp knock-knock echoes through the new office. A client? Already. The three of them fly into a panic. They improvise, with the brothers acting as receptionists in front of a screen, while Tilly hides behind it, feeling very mysterious. Karen peeks out. Lady Lapids, a young woman with striking blue hair, steps inside. She asks if this is the Chebley counseling office. Duluth nervously confirms. Little does she know, Chebley is Tilly's secret code for cheaters will bleed. And plot twist, their first client is a prime candidate for future sister-in-law. They get her seated and serve her tea, though Duluth is so stiff with nervousness he might snap. The consultation begins. Karen has to tell his brother to chill out. The young lady Michelle Lapiz reveals she's here about her father. Tilly knows the name, he's a professor. Michelle drops the bomb. I think my father has lost his heart over some lady. She explains that she followed him and saw him embracing a woman in a black dress. Other signs were there too. Strange perfume, a sudden interest in his appearance. She dismissed it as coincidence, but now she's trembling with fury. Duluth quickly brings her more tea to calm her down, and Tilly waits. Michelle tried to identify the woman, but with so many ladies in black dresses, it was impossible. Tilly asks for more details. Michelle recalls a hat with a peacock feather, and that the woman attends academy reunions, where her father would bring bouquets. She's certain the affair started after he became a professor and gained status. Tilly summarizes the case, and asks the crucial question, what does Michelle want? Michelle wants to know one thing. Did they spend the night together? Because if they did, she's banishing him from the family. She slides an invitation across the table. The deadline is the next day at a party for her parents' wedding anniversary. The absolute savagery. At the party, Tilly is on high alert. Suddenly there's a commotion. Kier has accidentally bumped into a woman in a red dress, spilling a drink. The woman is furious, snapping that an apology won't do. Before dismissing the mortified Kier, Tilly watches her go. Her attention is then drawn to Marcus Lapice himself, who is getting a little too friendly with another guest. Tilly watches him like a hawk, as he excuses himself. This is it. She knows that for a first-time cheater, public shame is the ultimate weapon. Even from a child, she bursts forward, calling out his name. Marcus Lapice. He turns from a secluded corner, and Tilly's eyes lock onto his companion. It's the woman in the red dress, the one who was so rude to Kier. Busted. Here we go again. Our little nugget has wandered into yet another chaotic situation. She explains she just followed a pretty door. Lord Lyndon is sweating bullets, trying to explain why he's in a room with a lady whose dress is mysteriously wet. But our girl, ever the problem solver, gets a brilliant idea. She declares that as a lord, he must be kind to all ladies. What a pure, sweet, and completely wrong assumption. He tries to make a run for it, saying he was just getting a servant. But the lady in red isn't having it. She grabs him, accusing him of trying to flee the scene. Just then, a voice cuts through the tension from the shadows. Lord Lyndon turns, his face a mask of pure shock. It's the son of the Lords, June. He was sitting there the whole time. He coolly calls out the lord for rambling about how the Lyndons wouldn't get into the academy. He then turns his icy gaze on the lady, telling her to stay quiet and leave the room. A chill runs down her spine. June isn't finished. He tells the lord he's out of his mind and needs to confess to his family, or a divorce will be inevitable. He delivers this savage news with a calm, terrifying expression. Then he walks right over to our little heroine. He tells her that half-hearted apologies won't do. He takes her hand, and with a dramatic rush, they bust out of the room, slamming the door on the scandalous couple. Once they're clear, Tilly asks the million-dollar question, "Why did you help me?" He gets a little shy, scratching his cheek as he explains that her brothers wanted to attend the academy. And now, thanks to this little incident, there will be no more objections to their admission. He's basically a knight in shining armor, complete with a metaphorical sword and blue roses. Tilly is still processing. "Should I thank you for this?" she asks, genuinely confused. He tells her not to try and understand it. He gets all flustered, covering his mouth as he admits even he has no idea why he's acting this way. Tilly is floored. "What did you just say?" She decides to just call it even. And a sweet smile spreads across her face. But then she asks for one more thing in return. She stares him down, and the poor boy looks so nervous. She finally asks her question. "Dance with me. Just one song." He's completely taken aback. He blushes, admitting that the music playing is actually perfect for dancing. Our girl notes that she's never seen him this shy before as they hold hands. She agrees, but with one condition: they have to dance here, in private. She knows her brothers would cause a scene if they saw them. And in that moment she's certain Junlor earnestly likes her. It feels weird, but she can't just say that to his face. He snaps her out of her thoughts, asking what she's thinking about so hard. She compliments his dancing, and he immediately calls her bluff. She giggles, admitting he's right. She only says those things sincerely to Tessa. He visibly flinches at the name. She holds his hand, clarifying that Tessie is the only one she'll dance with from now on, not Junlor. But as he twirls her around, surrounded by magical blue roses, she has to admit to herself, and this isn't bad at all. A small smile plays on her lips, and his heart skips a beat. The dance ends. "That was great," she says, giving him a little curtsy. She tells him she's heading out to find her brothers, but he stops her. He needs to know. "How did you know about their relationship?" Our girl flinches. She starts sweating, trying to figure out what to say. She doesn't fully trust him yet, even if he seems nice for now. He leans in close, promising he won't tell anyone. She decides to repay his help with a little truth. She leans in and whispers that she recently started a counseling office and got the info there. He is utterly bewildered. But before she can explain further, there's a knock at the door. A voice calls for June, and they both recognize it immediately. It's his father. June frantically shoves Tilly behind a curtain just as the door creaks open. The door opens fully, and in walks his terrifyingly stoic father. And who is with him? The very same lady from the lounge. She's whining that June ruined her plans with Professor Lapiz. As she complains, June pulls Tilly deeper into hiding. That was close. But his father is ice cold. He tells the woman that if her relationship is over, it just means her beauty has expired. She gasps in horror, but he just gives her a look that could freeze fire. He turns and leaves with her, the two of them chattering as they walk away. June and Tilly peek out from behind the curtain. "Phew, I thought we'd get caught," he whispers. Tilly is still a little frazzled. He tells her she can come out now, thanking her for her quick thinking. They step out into the grand hall, just in time for the main event. And what an event it is. Lord Lyndon is on his knees, getting absolutely roasted. His wife and daughter have arrived, and they are not happy. The daughter is literally telling her mom to hit him harder. The Lord scrambles, insisting it's all a misunderstanding. He tries to deny it, but his wife grabs him by the collar. "Oops," she says with savage sweetness. She reminds him of the lingering scent of Lady Labique's perfume, her eyes burning with rage. Then smack, she kicks him right where it hurts. The crowd murmurs as the wife turns her fury towards the other woman. Her expression, absolutely terrifying. She points a finger, calling her out in front of everyone, accusing her of throwing herself at every man in sight. Now that is how you handle a cheater. The lures watch from the side, and the father tells June it's time to go. But the drama isn't over. Lady Labique starts screaming denials. Poor Lord Lyndon is in tears, whining that she told him she liked his intelligence. She just screams back, "Shut up, you moron." Her hand trembles with rage. She spins around, her eyes landing on our poor heroine. "This is all you're doing," she shrieks. She lunges forward, grabbing a fistful of Tilly's hair, pulling it tight. But before she can do any real damage, another hand grabs her hair. It's the wife. "What are you doing to a young child?" she snarls, yanking her back. She drags the screaming woman across the floor. She throws her down with a thud. "Get out of my face," she commands. Lady Labique scrambles up, huffing with humiliation, and dashes out of the mansion. The wife crosses her arms, victorious. Lord Lyndon, seeing his chance, scrambles away like the coward he is. The wife sighs, admitting she needs to control her temper, while her daughter just bursts out laughing. What a night! 2 months later, a lot has changed. Lord and Lady Lopez got a divorce, and he had to pay a hefty alimony. He wasn't fired, but he did get a salary cut. All of this worked out perfectly for our girl. To see his daughter again, the professor had to grovel for days. His daughter Michelle finally relented. Thanks to her, a letter arrives. Karen Duluth finally gained admission into the academy. The whole family celebrates this amazing news. And even better, their business is booming. They have a bag full of gold to pay for the admission fees. Just as they're celebrating, it's time for the next client. The kids scramble to get ready. A new lady arrives, drawn in by the rumors of the Shadowy counseling office that solved the Lapid's case. The boys greet her with professional smiles. The business hit the jackpot. Carriages line the streets, full of clients. They solve case after case, finding evidence for grateful ladies. And with every solved case, the money pours in, bag after bag of gold coins. Our little businesswoman is literally diving into a pile of money. But with success comes a new problem. They're all sitting down for tea, celebrating the boys' first day at the academy tomorrow. Duluth is so excited about the uniform. They tell Tilly she should come next year. Karen notices Tilly isn't her usual cheerful self. She admits she's excited, but with them gone, the counseling office can only open on weekends. She sighs, thinking about the logistics. The boys just laugh, thanking her for being so understanding. Duluth pats her head, saying she talks like an adult, but she's genuinely worried. They have a long list of clients waiting, and there's nothing she can do to help them alone. The next day arrives. The boys look dashing in their new school uniforms and wave goodbye. Tilly and her mother wave back proudly. As the carriage rolls away, the boys are buzzing with excitement for their new adventure. Back home, the house feels quiet. Tilly tries to read, but she can't help but feel a bit bored without Karen Duluth around. She lets out a long sigh. Her mother notices her sad little face. She smiles and suggests, "Tilly, should we go visit Karen Duluth?" Tilly's eyes light up. A visit to the academy? Yes, please. Here we go again. Our little nugget and her chaotic brothers are about to take on their next big adventure, school. The boys are immediately impressed by the sheer scale of Stetsa Academy. But our girl, Tilias, is absolutely gobsmacked. "So this is Stetsa Academy," she gasps, her eyes wide with wonder. She tells her mom that she heard her daddy went here too. Her mom gets this adorable, faraway look in her eyes. "Yes," she says, "he had good grades, but then we started dating." Tilly can't help but think about the wild fact that her dad and the villainous Duke Laura attended this very academy together, looking like total rivals even back then. She wonders where her brothers, Kira and Duluth, have gotten to. After a brief orientation, we see the boys already sitting in class, looking like model students. The lecture hall is massive, but our boys are focused, packing up their things as soon as class is over. Their mother greets them with a cheerful wave. They tell her the class wasn't difficult at all, since it was similar to what they'd already learned. But Tilly gives them a suspicious side eye. Really? Karen insists their mom's voice isn't sleepy at all. Unlike the professors, Duluth chimes in, saying the lessons just build on what they already know. The family reunion is interrupted by a new face. A pretty blue-haired girl approaches the brothers. "Thanks to your advice," Duluth says to her, "I managed to prepare ahead." The girl smiles, telling him he can always ask her anything. Tilly watches them, making a priceless face. Wow, they're talking so casually. They've definitely gotten closer. The girl then turns and greets their mother politely, mentioning she was concerned the boys might struggle since they joined late. She then focuses on our little nugget, extending a hand. "And it's been a while, Lady Linden. Thank you for your assistance last time." Tilly shakes her hand, but her brain short-circuits. "Wait, my assistance." The horrifying realization crashes down on her. Kier leans in and whispers the soul-shattering truth. She figured out that we run the Shadowy counseling office. Tilly lets out a silent internal scream. "What's het?" Later, after their mom sends them off with pocket money to have fun, Tilly is in full-blown panic mode. "How did you figure it out?" The screen was flawless. The blue-haired girl just smirks. "Haha, only fools wouldn't know." She explains that the voice sounded too young and the silhouette was too small to be an adult. Plus, the Linden brothers work there, so it was an easy guess. The boys just look smug about it, but the girl reassures Tilly, promising to keep it a secret. It seems nobody wants to reveal the truth, because the high society that uses their service would turn on whoever spilled the beans. Tilly is relieved, admitting she's been anxious about the business. But then the girl's expression turns deadly serious. "Watch out for the Lore family," she warns, her voice dropping to an icy whisper. The Lores haven't taken notice of the counseling office, but once the business starts flourishing even more, they will pans. When that happens, hiding Tilly's identity will become nearly impossible. Our girl needs a plan, and fast. Sensing her distress, "This is your first time visiting the academy. Don't you want to have some fun here?" he asks, trying to distract her. Karen agrees, saying there are tons of places to show her. "That does the trick." "Of course," she beams, her worries melting away. She decides to make the most of her day. They explore the beautiful academy grounds, heading straight for the library, which is filled with rare books. After finding the perfect reads, they end up with giant stacks of books. While wandering the aisles, Tilly spots a mysterious unmarked door. "What's in there?" she asks. Duluth explains it's the restricted section, where all the banned books are kept. But for some reason, Tilly feels a bizarre, overwhelming urge to go through that very door. The friends suggest they go eat, but as they leave, Tilly can't help but glance back at the forbidden door, a strange feeling settling in her heart. Suddenly her world goes dark. She's floating in a misty void, feeling confused and disoriented. She finds herself standing before that same door again. Her heart pounds as she gulps and reaches out, the door creaking open. She snaps awake in her bed, gasping for air. Phew, it was just a nightmare, she sighs in relief. Looking out at the moonlit night, she realizes that with everything going on, she's completely forgotten about her dear friend Tessian. Now that he's the royal prince, he's busier than ever. She clutches a letter from him, a soft smile on her face. And just as she's thinking of him, a gentle voice says, "Hi Tilly, it's Tessian, he's here." He pulls her into a warm embrace, whispering, "I missed you." She shyly returns the hug, her face buried in his chest. He pulls back, teasing her. "You are still much smaller than me." She asks if he even has time for a long journey like this. He just smiles. "But I'm already here. I was also intrigued by the case you wanted my help with." With that, he says, "Now let's get going." They sneak into the academy grounds at night, cloaked in ridiculously suspicious robes. Tilly can't help but point it out. "Don't you think this makes us look even more suspicious?" Tessian shushes her, explaining it's necessary to hide their very noticeable hair colors. They tiptoe through the library.